Make sure everything's up and running. All right, we're live. We're live. Go live. Go live. There we go. All right. Oh, that is. Do I have the log chart on? Settings. Yeah, I'm in the log chart. Okay, nice. There we go. There we go. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Raj. What's up, Christian? What's going on? How are y'all doing? I got it set up in dual mode now on TikTok, so you can look in both vertical or landscape. Take your pick. Take your pick. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Raj? Raj said, I am loyal. I appreciate the support. It's late by you, too, and you be on here, so I really give you credit for that, because I know... Isn't it, like... What time is it? No, you're West Coast. Sorry, you're West Coast. What am I talking about? There was someone else, I think it was on... There was someone else that had joined that was on, like, really late time frame. I don't even remember what time. Like, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning or something crazy. It was truly incredible. I'm like, hey, thank you for being... No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. But there was someone that came in, not you specifically, but there was someone that had come in that was from India. And I'm like, dude, it's like, shit, it's like, what is that? 8:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3. That's like 3, 4 in the morning. And he was on the stream. I'm like, hey, I appreciate it, but it's late as shit by you. But anyway, I thought it was funny. But yes, thank you for correcting me, Raj. I appreciate that. I think that was funny. So we got a lot of stuff to cover today. I wanted to dive into, I'll wait for everyone else to kind of join, but I want to dive into some potential fundamental analysis stuff too. The platform that I use is Token Terminal for this, and it's a great tool to identify like fundamentally solid projects in the crypto space specifically. So I want to dive into that a little bit. Aiden, what's good, man? What's going on? Where are we headed for Bitcoin? That is a great question. That is a great question. Still no changes for me in terms of downside. I'm still expecting... Oh, and I have both vertical and horizontal format on TikTok now. So if I think there's like a little square in the corner, you can obviously have it vertical, but if you want to see the full screen, you can flip it horizontal too. So it's kind of take your pick. But for me, no changes to Bitcoin. This is just kind of chop city right now. If I'm being honest, we've, already had the 1, the 2, we're in the 3, and we're still expecting a 4. So no changes there. This 4 seems to be developing kind of funky in the sense that we could get some more expanded consolidation. So really no changes on Bitcoin right now. Originally, I had thought this was an A, this was a B, and then we had this developing A, B, C type structure. But from the looks of it, we can go to the 4 hour and we can see what it looks like on the 4 hour. Let me get this into frame here. One moment. Let me remove this line from here too, because I know that's kind of annoying. So originally what I thought, and price action's still developing, but we definitely have an A, B, C for an A. So for me, this A is solidified. The problem is this B is interesting because we also have like this 3-wave movement. So I'm like, is that a B now? And then we should see an A, B, C to the upside. So then what ends up happening is this B gets moved over here, and then we get a C somewhere over here. Is it something like that? The only thing that's weird to me is this. Let me erase some of this stuff. Is this structure right here on the 4 hour, because This right here, this initial move is definitely an ABC. For me, it's kind of clear, like you can see an ABC. So that for me is an A. The only thing that's tricky to me is this right here, because if we zoom in on this specific area, let me get it like super blown up. If we jump into this area right here, this to me looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe a 5, and then we have this A, B, and then C structure. So for me, this almost looks like an A wave, a B wave, and then maybe this like funky C, but it's very confusing price action on the 4 hour if I'm being completely transparent. Hey, what's going on? Is that Nito? Is that how Nito FKA? What's going on, man? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you coming to the live. We're starting off with Bitcoin because I know that's a big topic right now in terms of, kind of what's the next move. But for me, it's still chopping around. There's really no changes to it. This for me was definitely an A, B, C, A. The only thing that's weird is this. Like, it just seems very funky to me. It's like we get these like multiple ABC movements down, and then we get this, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up. So for me, I'm like, okay, that's a start of a zigzag. Or is this an A, B, C, A? This is the B, and then this is an A, B, C up for an initial A wave. And then now we're in a B wave and we see a C wave bounce. Only price action is going to be able to determine that, unfortunately. So I'm just kind of letting the price dictate what it's going to do next. Like on the daily time frame, you can see on the daily time frame specifically, like look, this doesn't scream impulsive. It all is just chip chopping around. Did ChatGPT help to figure out how to see it horizontally? Wait, I'm confused. Did ChatGPT help to figure it out to see it horizontally? Are you referencing like how? Oh, wait, no, wait. I think I know what you're saying. Oh, so on TikTok, I have the ability now where on TikTok Live Studio, it gives you the ability to do dual format, and it. Talking about the chart. Yes. Did it help you figure out how to see it horizontally? I'm having a brain fart right now. I'm trying to think of what you're referring to. I know with TikTok Live Studio, it gives me the ability to broadcast it with both horizontal and vertical format. So you can see it either vertically or horizontally. It's kind of depending on your pick. I think there's like a little square in the corner and you can flip your screen horizontal, which will show you my entire screen as opposed to just this little vertical sub-segment. If that's what you're referring to, yes, it was a TikTok Live Studio thing. All I had to do was enable the dual format, and it projects it in dual format, which is really nice. Do you see a bull flag? I mean, technically it could be, but that for me would just be a wave C. So like, yeah, you could have this right here with this being a bull flag, like sure. But that, like, for me, patterns really aren't part of my strategy. If that is a bull flag, then that would further my thesis of, let me remove some of this stuff. That would further my thesis of what I'm thinking in terms of like, this was an A wave, B wave, and then we're still expecting a C wave up. So if this is a bull flag and we get price action to the upside, that would be fine. I mean, y'all know I've been talking about maybe 73 to 75K as a bounce zone, and then we dump. Really no changes. The only thing that's going to change what happens next is if we start getting impulsive moves to the downside. Once we see like these sharp drops down, then I'll know, okay, we're in the 5, and then we should expect lower. And the way that the structure is developing right now, it doesn't look like we're going to get any sort of expanding flat. So I wouldn't expect price to be like, okay, this is an A, B, C wave, and then we get a deep B wave, and then we get a C wave here. I don't really see that happening based on price action. So once we kind of break this low, for me, that's kind of the confirmation that we're in the 5. But I'm just expecting these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements down, and that for me will be the 5th. I'm talking about your broadcast. Last time we couldn't see your full screen. I have yeah. So now I have on TikTok Live. Yeah, you can do both vertical or horizontal. I think there's like a little square in the corner that you can flip to horizontal. I mean, I'm streaming also on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. So those obviously you don't have to worry about the vertical format. It was just the TikTok Live Studio thing, and there was a setting at the top that allowed me to broadcast at both at the same time. I have a question. Maybe you can recommend a few TA trading books. I don't have my book up here right now. Let me see. Hold on. I'll pull it up on YouTube and then I'll put it, or Amazon rather. This is the book that helped me a lot. Hold on. Elliott Wave Theory book. Where is it? This one right here. Let me blow it up. It's a simple read too. Like, I want to say it's only 100 pages, but that's the book right there. If y'all can see that, it's kind of glary. Let me put it closer. It's called Elliott Waves Made Simple. If you can't see it, I'm sorry, I have the ring light behind it, but it's called Elliott Waves Made Simple by Steve Sinclair. That's the name of the book. It's by Steve Sinclair. It's on Amazon. I think it's only $10. Yeah, I bought the paperback one because I'm old school. I wanted a paperback. But it's only $10. Like, it's $10 on Amazon, and it describes everything. Like, this is like the strategy that I use for trading and investing is Elliott Wave Theory. And it takes, I want to say it's Ralph Nelson who is the founder of Elliott Wave Theory. He has like a huge book that you can read, but this one's a condensed version of it. And it gives you all the different impulsive waves, all the different corrective waves, and then it also has like trading style in there as well. So you, in the back of the book, like, it teaches you first for the first like 75 pages, everything about impulsive waves, everything about corrective waves. And then when you get to the back of the book, there's like 35 to 40 pages of how to trade using this theory. So it'll give you like tools to use, meaning like this fib retracement, the trend-based fib extension. It'll say, okay, if we're in a wave 3 to the wave 4, what can we chart out for a wave 5? And it gives you rules around like, okay, we typically target the 1 to the 1.618 for a wave 5. That's why I've been saying 60 to 50K based on the rules of Elliott Wave Theory. If we bounce, somewhere to the 70 to 75 region, like 60, it doesn't really change much how high we go up. It's really just depending on where we bounce here. But it gives you like all these rules, and then it says, okay, if you're going to trade on like a smaller time frame, use the 4-hour, the daily, or the weekly to trade on a smaller time frame. And then it'll give you rules about which phases you can trade. So the most high probability trading phases are the wave 3 or the wave 5. So if you were going to trade anything on a shorter time frame, you would trade this wave, and then this next wave you would trade. So those are the only two waves that you technically are, if you're abiding by the rules 100%, like those are the two waves that you want to trade, is the 3 and the 5, and then you can trade the C wave of a corrective structure. Those are the rules around what you are allowed to trade or not if you want high probability setups. Do you think it's possible to go down without going up first? Yeah, for sure. We don't necessarily have to go up. I'm just, based on the structure and looking at it, it just seems like we're going to go that way, because like this was an ABC move A. This technically could be an ABC movement B, and then we get another like ABC movement up for the C, and then we dump. The way that I am looking at this structure, regardless of what happens, if we go up, if we just kind of chop around and then go down, is what happens kind of next. So if we get something like, a ABC movement down, for me, that's corrective. But if we get a sharp dump, a 2, another sharp dump, a 4, and then a dump 5, for me, that's the start of wave 5, and we'll just evaluate that as price action comes out. So it doesn't necessarily have to go up. It's a matter of when we start getting these impulses down. Like this entire move so far is just, you can see it on the chart, right? It's dragging out, it's slow moving. And where's the days? You can see it by like the date range. So if you take, let me get this all in here. If you take like, where's the date range? This date range was 9 bars. So it took 9 days to move from here to here. And then this so far has taken 12. So it's taken a longer time to move that quickly. And then even the wave one here took 7 bars. And then the correction was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So typically impulsive waves move a lot faster, whereas corrections, they kind of drag out. But once we start getting those waves down, it'll be a lot more clear once these impulsive waves start happening to the downside. Aiden said I'm dumping my life savings into Bitcoin when we hit 60K. Not financial advice. We were talking about VeChain yesterday. If you were in the stream yesterday, I was dying when we were talking about VeChain. The chart is suggesting like a 50 to 70x for VeChain, and we were just having a good old time. No VeChain. Sunny knows. We're putting our entire life savings into VeChain, and we're going on a vacation to Aruba. But all jokes aside, I wouldn't suggest putting your entire life savings into anything. I'm a big fan of diversification and properly allocating your portfolio. But again, not financial advice. If you so choose to do that, again, that is your thing. But the whole goal is making some money. So I'm hoping that we can make some money on this next move up. Nito said, for how many years have you been into trading? So I've tried, a lot of it's been trial and error. So for me, it started back so I was an advisor from 2017 to like 2020. Was it 2020 or 2019? I want to say 2020 is when I moved positions from financial advisor into something else. But I started sort of my investing, my own personal, like investing, trading, like knowledge learning around late 2019 into 2020. And I tried like every strategy you could think of. I tried moving average strategies. I tried ICT concepts. I tried smart money concepts. I tried moving average crosses. I tried momentum strategies. A lot of it was just like paper trading, not using my own money. And then eventually I got to the point where I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could trade. And then I got trading into small cap coins on momentum trading, and I lost a lot of money doing that in the beginning. So a lot of it's just trial and error and learning. And then I stumbled across Elliott Wave Theory. It was more geared for longer term investing. Elliott Wave Theory has been around since like the 1920s. Like it's been around for like hundreds of years. I think it's been around for about 80 to 100 years. So it stood the test of time. And I'm like, you know what? This resonates with my personality a lot more. I don't really trade like 15-minute, 1-minute candles. That's too chaotic for me. I don't like all that volatility. For me, I trade. Typically, I don't really go anything lower than the daily time frame. I stick to monthly, weekly, daily. But a lot of it's just trial and error, learning, a lot of practice, looking at charts, analyzing charts, like, okay, this is what it's going to do. And then just allowing yourself to learn and not being frustrated. Like, don't get frustrated if you're wrong. It happens. You don't learn trading overnight, or you don't learn investing overnight. Like, it's going to take time. And for me, it's been at least 5-6 years now of trial and error. But for me, Elliott Wave Theory has been the most consistent, but it allows me to be more strategic with my buying opportunities, as opposed to a lot of strategies, especially the ones you hear on like TikTok and YouTube. Everything is like, become a day trader, you're going to be the best day trader. But 99% of those people don't even day trade themselves. They just sell courses, and they make all their money through course selling, as opposed to actually making money through trading. So that would just be my own personal opinion. Sanjeev said, what if it goes to 85, 90K and we keep going higher? There is belief last dip was the bottom. I mean, it possibly could do that. I'm not opposed to that. It just, the reason I think that is not on the table, I'll entertain it. But the reason I don't think that is on the table is I'll give you my reasoning why, and then we can kind of discuss what you think. But on the weekly chart, the way that structures move in Elliott Wave Theory is you have a 5-wave move, then you have a 3-wave correction. And on the weekly chart, or let me just go to the monthly so you can see the full structure, and then we'll go to the weekly, and I'll show you why I don't think that, why I still think we're going to go lower. So on the monthly chart, let me change the colors of these so they're a little bit more visible. On the monthly chart, I think that changed all the colors. On the monthly chart, we have a 5-wave move, right? We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now what's next after a 5-wave move? you get a 3-wave move. And this one for me has been an expanding flat, and I'll show you why. So you get an A, B, and then a C wave. Okay, perfect. Now we know structurally where we're at. Okay, now let's go to the weekly chart, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the weekly chart, and I'll be able to determine zones that are high probability zones of where we think price might go based on the rules of Elliott wave theory. So for the A wave, you get a 3-wave move, which we had an A, B, and a C. Boom, A wave's done. Then you have a 3-wave A, B, C for the B, and this is an expanding flat. I won't dive too much into it. Essentially, all it means is the name of the structure. So in an expanding flat, you get an A wave, and then you get a B wave that goes above the starting point of wave A. So we had that, and after this 3-wave move and after this 3-wave move, you get a 5-wave move down. So what we've had so far of this 5-wave move down is, let me blow this up a little bit more so you can see it. Again, if you would prefer landscape format on TikTok, I'm streaming in both, so you can view both landscape and vertical. So if you want to see the entire chart, just hit the square in the bottom and it'll flip it. But I want to make sure that I'm keeping it in vertical too for those that so choose that. So once we get the 3-wave move, you get a 5-wave move down. And so far we've had a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we're in the 5. And breaking down the 5, we can go to the daily chart. And of the wave 5, we've had, let me get that in the chart here. Of the wave 5, we're also going to get 5 smaller subwaves of the larger 5. And right now we've had a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we should expect one more wave lower. So while I think that potential scenario could be valid, I would put it on the lower side of probability of that happening. The reason behind that is just due to the structure and the rules of Elliott wave theory. I think that based on where we're at, the next high probability move is one leg lower due to the expanding flat and the rules around that. Invalidation levels for that would be this right here. So if we were to continue pumping up, the invalidation of this wave count would be $87,193. So if price were to say impulse up above these levels, this means this entire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down is invalidated. And if that's the case, then what we would look at is this structure over this entire structure over again, meaning this entire 5-wave move down. We would look at this entire structure again and analyze it on a further detail. I've done that to the best of my ability, and the only logical thing that I've been able to gather is we still are expecting one leg lower. So I hope that answers your question, but that for me is kind of what's next. Can you do Polkadot, Dogecoin, SHIB, and File, please? Yeah, we can look at some of those. We did Dogecoin yesterday and Shiba the other day. Again, I just want to preface this to, like, the Elliott wave theory is not necessarily geared for like smaller market cap, high volatility tokens. That's not necessarily what it's like meant to be for. It's meant to be for higher market cap tokens, things with longer price history, think 5, 6, 7 years of price history, less volatility, so you can analyze these wave movements. When you have tokens like that just launched or that have only been around for a year, you don't really have a lot of price action to go off of. So when you have that, it makes Elliott wave theory a lot harder. You can't necessarily sorry. Some of these comments are making me laugh. Okay, you messed up my my train of thought. Hold on. Let me finish my train of thought. When you have like less price action to go off of, it doesn't really work for Elliott wave theory. That's not necessarily what it's like designed for. That's why when you guys suggest like, hey, let's look at Fartcoin, let's look at the other coins, I can use Elliott wave theory on it, but it's less reliable on tokens like that. Aiden, I sold my whole portfolio at 85K. Do you think 40% Bitcoin, 40% ETH, and 20% alts is a good mix? Yeah, I think that's a good mix. I was telling people on the other thing, again, not like I can't legally provide investment advice because I don't have my series license, but a good rule of thumb whenever you're investing into everything is whenever you're investing into a market, you want to have a diversified portfolio. And for me, you should at least have 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, say 30% of your portfolio in in Ethereum. So you have 50, 30, that's 80%. Then put another 10% in large cap altcoins, and then put another 10% in some flyers, anywhere from 1 to 10%. Put that into, Fartcoin or whatever coin. And I think limiting that exposure to these high volatility tokens, put like 1 or 2% in them. And if it hits, it hits. If it goes to zero, you're at least protected knowing you have a good portion of your money in solid projects. Hey, what's up, Daniel? How's it going? I made it tonight. Absolutely. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. USAR, IONQ, if you have time. Yeah, we can look at some of those. Daniel, what's up? It's Daniel. D Lane, what's going on? What's going on? There's a massive order block at 87K on NYC Bitcoin. I mean, that could also be a thing. Like if we pump up to that level, I do think we'll see a rejection. But at the end of the day, my invalidation levels for this wave count would be 87,100. Just sold my Corvette to dump it into Bitcoin due to your advice. 200K, here we come. While I don't condone that, I wish you the best of luck with it. But I do think, based on this analysis, I do think 200K is next. Bitcoin going to 50K, note my word. I mean, for me, my range is 60 to 50. So it could potentially see 52. And I think that would be a great level to dollar cost average if you're not in already. But for me, based on this fib retracement, we're looking at zones between 60 to 50K for the next wave 5 down. Let's see. Going to get rich at 20 because of you. Bitcoin going to 50K, mark my word. Yep. Going to get rich at 20. Hey, I want everyone to be financially free. That's the goal. I want to say, Aiden, thank you for the rose as well. Word. Yeah, word. We're all getting rich. We're all going to Aruba. What about Beat Altcoin? What about Beat Altcoin? Oh, I think you meant best altcoin to buy. Nick, you're so attractive. Well, thank you, Aiden. I appreciate that. I am not single. No, I am married. My wife is in the other room. If she heard that, she would be like, "Hey, what the hell?" But no worries, no worries. Bitcoin dominance still going down. Hey, what's up, Matt? What's going on? I don't know why. I think we were going up from here. I'm crying. No worries. I mean, again, this is my thesis. It doesn't necessarily and not everyone has to agree with my thesis, right? Like this is obviously what I'm putting out here. We could very much go up and invalidate all my levels. Sure, we could potentially do that. But at the end of the day, I'm sticking with my analysis. And so far it's served me very well. And for me, we're due for what? Oh, where's my paintbrush? We're due for one more leg down. That's my opinion based on what I've seen so far on the chart. If we bounce, we might bounce a little bit and then dump. That's just what I'm seeing on the chart right now, at least. Oh my God, Aiden, what are all these things? What is that? I'm new to TikTok Live. So what is that? A heart? A chili? The goat? I appreciate it. The GOAT 7 GOAT. Let's get a dub Aiden in the chat. Oh, what's up, Kush? How's it going? MSTR expected to pull back 155. I think we were looking at MSTR dub Aiden. Yeah, dub Aiden in the chat. MSTR, I still have one more leg lower similar to Bitcoin. I think we looked at it yesterday. It was like between $80 to $100 was my levels for MSTR. And once that happens, I'm probably going to dollar cost average into that as well because those prices are very attractive for MSTR. But I think one more leg lower and then impulses to the upside with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with most altcoins, MSTR specifically because we analyzed it yesterday. And once we see that dump, it's off to the races. And for me, the next target's 950 for MSTR. We just want to make money. Yeah, facts. Well, here's the thing. I want to preface this too, because it also, when investing and putting money into the market, like it's all mindset. Send a galaxy. What is a galaxy? That was cool. Galaxy dub. Who sent the galaxy? Is that Christian? Dub Christian in the chat. Let's get everyone put spam dub Christian in the chat. A galaxy. That was cool. That was like a cool animation it did there. Omar said dub Aiden. Yeah, dub Aiden and dub Christian. But we all got to remember too, when you're investing, when you're putting money into the market, like the whole goal of it, yes, is making money. You want to make logical, decisions when you're putting money in the market, and try to eliminate your emotional bias at all costs. It's a lot easier said than done. However, when you're for me, this is why I love Elliott Wave theory so much, because it takes the emotion out of trading and out of investing. You can find high buying zones at the lows and high selling zones at the highs, and it allows you to just completely remove all emotional bias and just stick to the rules. And for me, it works. But when these times come of buying, you can't get scared. And that's another thing too. Like, there's max fear in the market right now, and so many people are expecting like massive bear market declines. And I see it all over Twitter. It's like, we're going from, we're going to get a small bounce and then we're dumping a 30K. I don't know if 95% of people think we're doing that. I think we're doing the inverse, and I think we're just going to shoot up to new all-time highs. But what gets people tripped up is when you have big buying opportunities on an asset, no one pulls the trigger. They don't want to buy because no one else is buying. They're fearful. They don't want to pull the trigger. They don't want to buy, an asset at a deep value discount and then hold. Everyone wants to make money quickly. I think the average retail investor has like a time frame of 3 months of investing. Like, whatever they buy, they're expecting to sell in 3 months. You're never going to win with that strategy, because as you can see, corrections like this take a huge amount of time. So if you bought here, or say you bought here and you're like, all right, I got a 3-month time frame, say you bought here and you got funneled into Bitcoin at the top, and you're like, I'm going to hold Bitcoin, I'm going to hold it long term. What happens is when price starts dumping, people get fearful. They look at their balance and they say, oh, wow, I'm losing money. They have a 3-month time frame, and then they sell down here. And then guess what? Price reverses, goes past their entry, and then what do? They buy up here. So you have to manage your emotions when investing and try to eliminate that at all costs. Nicky Poo. You're making me laugh, Aiden. You're making me laugh. Galaxy pays you I think $10. I don't know. That was pretty cool. I dubbed Christian in the chat. That was awesome. Kush, yeah, MSCR to 55. Yeah, I think one more leg lower and then we're going up. Okay, so let's dive into let's get off Bitcoin for a little bit. Let's dive into some other charts. Let me scroll up here and see some recommendations. I think Dogecoin and SHIB we already did. Filecoin for me is just in corrective. So I can, based on memory from before, Filecoin is in corrective. I can show you the chart. We analyzed it the other day. We don't really have to dive too much into it just because it's still in corrective mode. So like for me, Filecoin, it kind of looks like this, and it's just in corrective mode. We're just waiting for impulses off of these lows to determine what's next. I have Filecoin. I am under the water of Filecoin. I bought in this region down here thinking that was the low based on everything that I saw, and then obviously we dumped lower. But Filecoin's still in corrective. We're just waiting for impulses out. Doge. What was Dogecoin? I can't remember what Dogecoin. Where's the Dogecoin chart? Dogecoin for me is still in a wave 2. So Dogecoin, we've had a wave 1 and then a wave 2. We're just waiting for the correction to be done. And for me, the next target, which was actually hilarious for Dogecoin, was right at around $1. Between $1 and $1.27 was the next target for Dogecoin, based on if we correct a little bit lower. But the next targets for Dogecoin is $1, and it's so funny because people were saying Dogecoin to $1 back in June 2020. So I think it would just fulfill the prophecy of Dogecoin to $1. So for me, Dogecoin, as long as we don't retrace lower than the 2020 low, we're in a wave 2. Wave 3 is next. And for me, based on if we dip a little bit lower to like 7 cents, the next target for Dogecoin's $1. Shiba was the same thing. Shiba, no, that's not the Shiba chart. That's a different chart. Shiba was, where the hell's Shiba? There we go. Shiba was kind of the same thing. Now, again, I want to preface this with Elliott Wave theory. It's not necessarily designed for low market cap, high volatility tokens like this. We can use it as a guide, but it's less reliable. We do have a 5-wave movement up. We're just in the wave 2 and we're waiting for the wave 3. impulsive moves up for Shiba. So it could correct a little bit lower. It is below this 2023 low, so this can't be a wave 1 with a wave 2. We're just kind of waiting for impulses off for Shiba. I think the next target was like 0.00046 for Shiba. Forget diving in charts. All right, Aiden, you gotta chill. You gotta chill. All right. Do you see a huge bull flag on Doge? Possibly, but again, for me, I don't trade like patterns. I trade off of Elliott wave theory, which doesn't necessarily have any patterns behind it. I know. Let me go scroll up here because I know. Where was Daniel's request? USAR. Let's look at that. USAR. Is it rare earth on the NASDAQ? Is that the one, Daniel? I'm assuming so, but confirmation would be great. Yes. Okay. Yeah, let's look. Ooh, this is a choppy chart. Did this thing just come out in 2023, or is there another USAR I need to be looking at? I'm assuming that's the one because it's on NASDAQ. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So let me get all this in frame here. Let me go to the weekly because it'll give us some more price action. This is interesting. I was going to say this would be a 5-wave move up for a wave 1, but the way that the structure looks, it looks too corrective. Like it overlaps. There's not really a lot of impulsive moves. You could say, well, this could be a 1, but then we dip lower than the 1, so that can't be an impulsive 1, 2. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, all this looks corrective. This you would like to think this would be a wave 1, but then we corrected lower. And then this structure right here, this starting off here, you could say this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. We're in the 4 now because that overlaps. So that can't be an impulsive 1. I mean, you could have a 1, 2, 1, 2, but there's... Yeah, everything just even back here, like looking at the start of the token, choppy. Then we had an impulse up, but it's not a wave 1, so it could be like an A wave, a B wave, an ABC wave, maybe. There's really not a lot of guidance on this one, I'm going to be honest. I mean, from a fundamental standpoint, this might be a great token, but from an Elliott wave standpoint and giving you guidance on it, this I would be doing you no justice at all, because there's not really a lot of structure to it. We don't have a lot of previous price action to go off of because the token's only been around, or the stock's only been around for 2 years, and everything previous years looks corrective. The only thing would be, you know, we have what looks like a 1-2, and then maybe it's a 1-2, but even then you can't consider that a 1-2 because... Well, no, you can. As long as price stays above this level right here, you can consider this a 1-2 with a 1-2 and then maybe an impulsive wave up. But honestly, there's not a lot of guidance on this one, at least from what I'm looking at. It just looks very choppy. Not a lot of structure to it. Yeah, that'd be the only thing I'd be able to provide on this one, to be honest. I don't really have much, given the price action on here. And when I'm trying to look for like investments, not to say that US rare earth, I feel like this could be a good play, but for me, when I'm looking at charts, I want to see like clear, like in order for me to make a decision, okay, I'm going to put my money into this. And this is just from what I've learned over the years, doing, different types of strategies, different types of things and learning and basically just trial and error. Whenever I want to put my money into something, the first thing that I want to see is, okay, can I see a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the chart? Can I see an ABC movement? If I can see that, then for me, I have more confidence investing in an asset. So that's just for me personally what I like to do. And for me, like Bitcoin shows a lot of clear action, Chainlink does, XRP shows really clear action, Ethereum shows that. Like there's a lot of tokens where I'm like, oh, like MSTR is a clear spitting image of that. But as long as price holds above this level right here, above $15, you could technically consider this a 1-2. A 1-2, so this essentially would be a wave 1, a wave 2, and then you're in the wave 3. So you'd have a wave 1 of the wave 3, a wave 2 of the wave 3, a wave 3 of the wave 3, then you get a wave 4, and then you get a wave 5 of the wave 3. But it's kind of hard to determine. This is definitely a corrective. It's just a matter of, okay, where does the impulse start? And I don't really see anything that much on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, even on the 4-hour, on this impulsive one, I don't see 5 clear movements. I mean, with this, technically, let me see. I mean, this actually technically you could consider this the start of wave 1 because you have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5. So technically this is a 5-wave impulsive move. So this could be the start of the impulse because this doesn't show anything. This has nothing. This is going below this. Does this have anything? No. Yeah, because this retrace. Oh, I guess technically it didn't. Yeah, I mean, the only wave that I see on here is this 5-wave movement up. So if that truly is the start of the impulsive move, starting from down here to up here to where we are at now, like the next target, if this holds and this price doesn't, if price doesn't retrace lower than like $15, technically the next target based on this short-term time frame of 4 hours would be $44. That would be the next target for new SAR would be 44. Given the structure, that's the only thing I can find as impulse is on that 4-hour time frame, and this to me looks like an A, a B, and then an A, B, C almost movement. So it should bottom potentially soon. Let me see how much that corrected. Yeah, I mean, price came lower than the 786, so it's a deep correction. I mean, for me, yeah, the next target would be 44 if we're using that as an impulsive wave 1. Perfect. I trade options on stuff, but I was going to hold it if Elliott wave theory showed a great move. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can find is that 5-wave move on here. Everything else looks just choppy, to be honest. But that, to me, does show a clear 5-wave move off of here. Maybe on the hourly chart, you know, there's a 5-wave move here with this and then this. So technically, this could be a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2. But it's not as clear, if that helps. What was the other chart? I think I saw something in here. IONQ. Let's look at this one. Let's go to the monthly first. Okay, so we got a little bit more price action on this one, which is nice to see. Let me put that in the chart here. Oh wait, I missed this here. What is that? Crypto chart probably has full date range starting launch in 22. I'm thinking it's currently in wave 2. On which one, Matt? I think I missed the comment when I didn't have the YouTube chat pulled up. In regards to what chart? Okay, so for this one, let me make sure I have all this in here. So this is monthly. Let me see something here. All right, so that validates that rule. So I would have said this was a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. However, this price of the wave 4 entered the territory of the wave 1, so you can't consider that a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement. This does look like a wave 1, a wave 2, and then we're kind of in the 3, and it almost looks like a 1, 2. Well, that can't be that because, let me see, did this go? Yeah, I mean, that retraced into that, so you can't consider that. I mean, this structure is a little bit more clear. This is definitely a 1, a 2, and then this should be... Hold on. Maybe... No, because that extended more than 1.618, so it can't be an expanding flat. And this can't be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Let's go to the weekly. Let me look at it on the weekly. So on the weekly... 4, 5. I mean, this is definitely a clear... This is a clear wave 1, that's for sure. We have a 5-wave move. This looks like a 2. Now, the thing is, this structure is giving me a challenge. So we have this right here. We have a wave 1 with a wave 2. It's this shit over here, which is confusing. Because on this, we also have a 1, 2... The problem is the wave 4 can't enter the territory of the wave 1. But I think there might be exceptions to it. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. I mean, that's an impulse of A, B, C down with maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's a complex chart, Daniel. This one is definitely a complex chart. Oh, what up, healthcare? What's up? What's going on? What are we looking at here? INNQ. This was is USAR something people are actually buying? If so, why? I didn't buy any USAR, but we were just looking at the chart. It looks very complex. Same with this one too. This one's pretty complex. I mean, we definitely have a wave 1 with a wave 2. The only challenge that I'm running into is what this structure is. It definitely looks like we have a 5-wave move up here. So you can consider that maybe a 1, a 2, and then a 1, 2, and then we should see a 3, 4, 5. That for me is what would be next, because that's the only thing that validates this rule set is a 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the only thing that validates it, because we definitely have a 5-wave move here. We have a 5-wave move here. We have a corrective. We also have another 5-wave move here, and then a corrective. And it's in a 3-wave move. So we have a 5-wave move, a 3-wave move, a 5-wave move, a 3-wave move. And then this, on the daily, this also looks like we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So it's like we have a 5-wave move here, and then we have this 3-wave move here. So yeah, I mean, the next thing that this would, the next logical thing is up on this chart based on what I'm seeing. But it's definitely complex, so we're going to need to see more price action. But based on what we're seeing right now, it looks like a macro wave 1, macro wave 2. We're in the 3 right now. We have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we should expect bullish price action to the upside. Let's see. You post highlights for these, right? I can't stick around. Yeah, I post the highlights and the clips. That when you see the videos on my TikTok, it's usually like you'll see like half my face or my face in like the third, and then the other half up there. But yeah, I'll clip up all this stuff tomorrow and put it on TikTok for sure, and YouTube and all the other socials. Matt said XCN. We can look at XCN for sure. Oh, IONQ is quantum stop. Okay, that makes sense. This looks like a chart we don't buy. That's the answer. It's tough. I mean, it definitely looks like we're in the wave 3. And it could be a potential extended wave 3 because if this is a wave 1 and then this is a wave 2, price typically targets the 1.618 and we've already topped at the 2.618. We had a correction and then we had this. I mean, technically speaking, I have to go refresh my memory on the rules around the wave 4 overlapping the wave 1. I think it can happen in certain exceptions. So this technically could be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're in the corrective 2, and then we should see bullish price action after that. But I forget off top of my memory, I don't have the book in front of me, of what the rules are around the wave 4 entering the territory of the wave 1. Typically, it's not allowed, but I think there's exceptions to the rules. But it is not as clear. It's harder to determine. I'm holding INQ, hoping it's the next Nvidia. Hey, I think quantum stocks will definitely have their place for sure. I think a lot of these charts could see some explosive moves, especially with the cracking the Bitcoin code. Maybe that develops into a narrative. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help. But my own personal opinion is just when I'm investing in charts, you guys know, I like to see like clear movements so that I can make the best decision. But for things like this, if it's a hot topic or I'm seeing a bunch of information about it, I'll definitely look at it. And if it looks semi-clear, I'll just allocate like a small portion to it. I like to allocate bigger portions to higher confidence stuff. I think there was a question about SEI on here somewhere. I thought I saw that. SEI, where was it? There was something around SEI. I remember seeing it somewhere in the chat. Let's go to SEI and then, because I know that was first, and then let's go over to XCN, because Matt over on YouTube had a question about XCN, so we can do that. But let's go to SEI first, and then let's go to let me get this up first. Where's the spot crypto one? Oh, that one's not showing on the price chart. Coinbase maybe? No. Bitstamp? No. Maybe Bitfinex? I mean, just looking at this chart right off the rip, from what I'm seeing, unless there's another chart that shows more price action. I mean, this, yeah, because SEI was launched in 2023. I don't know what the price action looks before this. Like, I don't know what price action did down here. So that it's kind of hard to see. I mean, this chart looks exactly like Ondo. Like, it looks just like Ondo. We had a big rip up and then a huge correction. So for me, it's still in corrective mode. There's really not a lot to go off of, honestly. Like, the price just look at the chart. There's really not too much. We're definitely corrective. I mean, you definitely have an AB with an ABC. So that is true. But there's really just not a lot of information to go off of to determine what's next for SEI, if I'm being honest. XCN. Let's go to XCN now. XCN. Which one is it, Matt? So if you see my screen, which one am I picking here? If you're still in the chat, which XCN is it? Is it the one on Kraken maybe? Try the Kraken one. Ooh, that is an interesting looking chart. Crypto chart. Spot crypto. Let's see what that one. Okay. Maybe I'm just trying to find one that has like more price action, but it all looks very similar. That one looks a little bit different. Let's go back to the Coinbase one, maybe. All right, so XCN. Onyx, is that Onyx coin? Probably has full date range starting launch in 22. I'm thinking this is currently in wave 2. Yeah, so this is, okay, so we have, let's do some analysis. Let's go to the weekly because the monthly doesn't show us too much. Let's go over to the weekly here. Let me get my color chart thingy off. Let me see if I can get all this price action here. I mean, yeah, this whole corrective movement down off token launch, we're not even going to consider that in the analysis because it just doesn't really provide us a lot of things. Let me go to the daily. I might need more candles for this. So let me just zoom in. I'm gonna do it in chunks. I mean, let me see. Let me see if this, hold on one second. This, all right, where's this? Does this? No, so this has got to be a wave 5 then. Okay. All right, so this almost looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is wave 1, corrective 2. This is a 3. 3 up to here maybe, and then a 4, and then a 5 maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two. I mean, this definitely looks like a wave 1 with a wave 2. Now, the only thing is, two, maybe a 3 here, 4, 5, and then a stunted 4 with a stunted 5. Let me see what this looks like. I mean, technically that would validate that rule. Yeah, this one's also not as clear either. I mean, it literally looks like, I mean, technically speaking, but it would be a stretch. You would have a 1, a 2. Wait. Did price go below that? Hold on. It did. Because this can't be an AB wave, because this can't be an expanding flat. So this has to be the 5. Price retrace here, so this can't be a 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then a 5, because price retrace lower. You guys are giving me some complex charts today. I mean, for me, what it definitely has a wave 1 here. This looks like a 2. Now, the only thing is with this wave right here. Hold on. Let me put the weekly. So let me get this all on the chart. So the only problem that I'm running into is on the daily, this was a dip over here, is I would almost have to force this being a wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Like, I mean, technically it could fit. But when I was looking at the chart, this definitely was a 5-wave move up. We had a 2-wave move down. And then this almost looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a wave 3. And then we have a correction down. However, this can't be a wave 4 because price has overlapped here. And then the problem with this being a B wave bounce is this extended more than the 1.618, which you can't have happen. So this can't be a 1, 2, 3. We're in the 4 and we should see a 5. Unless this is a 1, 2, and then a 3 here, a short 4, and then a 5, then we're in the corrective 2. That could be a possible scenario. But it's less clear, if that makes sense. Patrick cooking, got my ashes dialed in. I love it. Crypto is a Ponzi scam. I mean, hey, you can believe what you want for sure, but I will choose to disbelieve that because there is definitely a time and a place for crypto. So While I respect your decision, I firmly disagree. It was launched in the bear market. Yeah, so I mean, technically speaking, you could fit that in there. You could say, okay, we have a wave 1, a 2, a 3 here, a short 4, and a 5. But the problem is, or not the problem, let's dive in deeper on that. So let's go to the 4 hour. I'm going to try to keep everything into the vertical format in TikTok, but I might need y'all to rotate the screen into horizontal because it's going to be hard to keep all this into the full frame. So there's the one. Okay, so 1, 2. Does this... I'm trying to like fit everything into screen, but it's hard. So this could be a 2, a 3, a 4, and then a 5. I mean, technically, but this honestly looks like a big wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. I mean, maybe you have this being like a really stunted wave 5, which, let's see what that looks like. I mean, you could technically have this being a stunted wave 5, and then we're in the 2. Let's see. Because that only extended to the 0.5. But, I mean, it technically does have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement here. But that would be... I mean, that would kind of be stretching it. But it is potentially valid. This one's tough. While I think that there is probably some bullish upside to this, it almost feels like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a shallow 5 because the 3 got so extended. And then we're in the wave 2, and then we should see a wave 3. But I feel like I would be just like forcing that. I almost feel like I would be forcing this to fit the mold as opposed to this just fitting the mold that I want it to fit in, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'd be forcing this chart to fit in a box where I would want to be a little bit more comfortable with that box, if that makes sense. What's up, Richard? What's going on? This is XCN. Matt over on YouTube requested XCN, so we were taking a look at it. And I mean, while I think it's probably got some fundamentals behind it, can probably get, some traction, I just feel like I'd be fitting this into a box where I don't necessarily want to. But, I mean, this could be a 1, 2 with a massive wave 1 and then another 2, and then you should see a wave 3. That could be an option. Based on the price action, we were looking at the weekly. This did have a 5-wave movement up. This was a correction. This did have a 5-wave movement up, and this has an ABC correction. So technically, it could be a 1, 2, and then we're in the wave 3, but it's a super extended wave 3, and you should see something like you could see something like this, where it's like 1, 2, and then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the wave 3, then you get a 4, and then a final 5. You could see something like that, and that's not... It's definitely doable because wave 3s typically are extended waves. And when you get extended waves, you'll essentially have 9 waves in the entire structure. So you'll have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, and then a 9. So it'll look something like that, where you'll just have an extended third wave. And then you'll have... let me get all this into charts so everyone on the vertical format on TikTok can see it. But essentially, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the wave 3, then you get the 4, and then you get the 5. That is possible, which would be super bullish for this chart if that happens, because if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, the next target would be 8 cents would be the next target. So that would be almost a little over a 10x for the wave 3. Then you get a pullback 4, then a 5, then you get a correction 4, and then a 5. So the only thing that's going to be able to determine what's next is what happens off of these lows. So if we get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up, technically that would fit this strategy. And for me, based on the price action that I'm seeing, the 1, 2 with the extended 3 fits this structure better than forcing the other thing. Can you pull the fib? Which fib do you want to look at? Because right now we have this wave 1 corrected about 0.786. And then we had this wave 2 correct way over the 786. But yeah, I think the next target, if we're using the 1-2 with the extended third wave, if we get like one more shallower low, I think the next target's around 8 cents for XCN. That would be my next target based on what the structure on the weekly was showing us. And again, these are newer tokens, so they're more volatile. They don't really have a lot of price action to go off of. So for me, this is a less confidence trade. However, it does fit all the rules of Elliott wave theory. This had a 5-wave movement up. This had a 3-wave move down. This had a 5-wave movement up. This also has a 3-wave down. And then what we should see next is another 5-wave movement up towards about 8 cents. That would fit the rules of it. So I would expect this next, which would be super bullish for XCN. Because if you get that 3-wave going up, then you get a 4, and then you get another wave going up. I mean, this thing could go pretty high. So great find on this one for sure. Can you look at Rose? I think if Patrick's still in the live, he does own Rose as well. So he's a big Rose fan too. But yeah, we got, I think I covered all the charts. Let's look at, Raj said Litecoin first. So let's look at Litecoin and then let's go to Rose. Yeah, let's go Litecoin, then Rose. I think that's a good, I just want to make sure that whoever typed the ticker in first gets priority on that. All right, so I think this has all the price action of Litecoin. Yeah, it does. Okay, let me make sure everything's in chart here. Again, I am streaming in both vertical and horizontal on TikTok, so if you can't see the full chart, just feel free to flip it to the vertical or the horizontal rather, and you'll be able to see everything. All right, so Litecoin. Mr. Litecoin, what are we gonna do with you? All right, so for me, Litecoin does, see, like with this, it's a little bit more clear. And this is why this, for me, is looking a lot more clear on the chart, and I'll show you why. So we have an impulse of 1 off the low, we have a 2, then we have a 3, then we have this correction 4, and then we have a 5. Boom, 5-wave move. Okay. Now, this looks very similar to XRP in the sense that we had an ABC for an A, we had a B wave, then we have this like C wave basically. So we're in the 2 right now is essentially where we're at. We're in the 2 for Litecoin, and this should be the A wave. This is the B wave. And then we're in this C wave because the reason we're in this C wave is, I'll show you why. So let me remove this. So we have a 1, we have a 2. Now the reason that none of these prices right here can be an impulse is because everything overlaps, and you can't have overlapping price structure in an impulse. Essentially all that means is, let me move this out of the way and then I'll draw it. So like with corrections, you can have overlapping price structure like this, but in impulses you can't. So like if you have a wave 1 with a wave 2, a wave 3, and then the wave 4 goes lower than a wave 4 and you have a wave 5, you can't have that happen. This would be corrective because you can't have wave 4 retrace lower than a wave 1. And the reason that none of these prices could be considered a wave 1 is everything kind of overlaps. I mean, technically this could be a wave 1 and then this could be a wave 2, but looking at this, let's see. So we have an A wave, a B wave, then we have this ABC wave. Okay, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, technically that could be an impulsive wave up. And I mean, we didn't retrace lower than that. So maybe this is an A, B, C, and then this is the first impulse off the low, and then we're just in this corrective 2. That could be something, because this was an impulsive wave 1. This could be an ABC bottom for the 2, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. So yeah, that actually fits. Okay, so Let me move this on a chart. Let me label this here. We have this as a 1. This is a 2. We're in the 3. Then we should see a 4 and then a 5. Now, of this wave 3, let me move the 4 out of the way and then the 5 out of the way here. Of this wave 3, this looks like a first impulse up, and then we're in the wave 2, and then we should see a 3, 4, and then a 5 to complete this 3, and then we'll get a correction 4, and then we'll get a correction 5. So it'll look something like that. So let me show, like, this is essentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moving up for the 3, then you'll see the 4 and the 5. Now, price target wise for the next impulse up should be, if I can get this on the low. Nope, that didn't get on the low. Come on. Bear with me. There we go. And then to the high. And then to this low right here. Okay, let me get this in the chart. Let me just go to the monthly so you can see everything. All right, so this is essentially what we have with Litecoin is we have a wave 1, we have a 2, then we have a 1, we're in the 2, and then we should see a 3, 4, 5 to complete this 3, and then we'll get a 4, and then we'll get a 5. That for me, based on the chart, is what Litecoin looks like, and the next target for Litecoin is right around $674 for this wave 3, and then we'll get a pullback 4, and then we'll get a 5 to complete this wave 3. So the next target for Litecoin is $674 based on what the chart is showing right now. So I mean, Litecoin from here, I mean, that's a 10x from right here. I mean, that's a and on a big cap token like this too, like that, I think that would be really cool if Litecoin did that. But yeah, next target for Litecoin's between basically $435 to $674. That would be the next target for Litecoin, based on this structure. Any questions on that one, Raj? Before we jump over to Rose. Yeah, we have an impulse of 1. We had a 2, and then we had an impulse 1. We're in this ABC2, and then we should see more price action. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, Litecoin at 674, that would be awesome. And I know Litecoin's been getting like more into memes. I see it on Twitter all the time. Like Litecoin just trolls a lot of people. I think it's hilarious. Let's jump over to what was it? Rose. That one's not showing the whole chart. Maybe Coinbase? No. Binance? No. Bybit? No. Is there one that shows the whole structure? Because I know Rose has more structure than that, but I don't know why it's not showing me. Did it launch in 2021? That's when Rose launched, right? Or am I wrong on that one? I feel like Rose launched in 2021, right? For me, it almost looks like we have like an A, a B, and a C, and then we're kind of just correcting. It looks just corrective, to be honest. We don't really have any, unless there's a chart that's showing more price action here. I don't see that. Maybe KuCoin. No, that looks the same. BitGet. No, that looks different. Mexi. No. Gate. Yeah, to me, Rose just looks like it's in corrective mode until we start seeing something like this off the lows. Until we start seeing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the lows, to me, this just looks corrective. There's really not a lot of structure to go off of. This can't be an impulsive 1 because price retraced lower than this level, so you can't consider that an impulsive wave 1. It almost looks like the token launched and then market participants are just trying to figure out where to properly price this thing at. But I think once we get an impulsive 1 off of this low, then we get a 2, we can chart out what a potential 3 would be. Raul, what's going on, man? Hope we're doing well. Let's jump over to, but before we go to Bitcoin, we can jump over there. Richard, do you have any questions on the Rose one? For me, it looks just corrective. There's really not a lot of structure to go off of that I can confidently say like, hey, we're at, this stage. Everything looks corrective until we start seeing some impulsive structures like this. It honestly just looks very corrective. What up, bro? Hope you're up to it. Yeah, doing well, man. Doing well. Just trying to do my best with these charts. And we've looked at a lot of charts today, and a lot of them were really complex. So y'all were giving me some complex charts today, but we were doing our best to analyze them. Again, I'm not perfect by any means, so I try my best. But a lot of them just look super corrective. Litecoin actually looked pretty promising. I will say Litecoin was pretty, it looked pretty bullish, and I think big things are ahead for Litecoin. But yeah, with Rose, it just looks corrective. Seems like all altcoins are ready for parabolic move up soon. I honestly think so. Like for me, with Ethereum and Bitcoin, once Bitcoin bottoms and starts taking off, I think there'll be a lag period between, like there kind of always is sometimes with Bitcoin, right? Like you get Bitcoin obviously moves first, then it trickles into Ethereum, then it trickles into altcoins. So I think what'll happen is like Bitcoin will make its final low, and then Ethereum will make its final low. A lot of these altcoins will make their final lows, and then you'll see a lot of Bitcoin maybe probably moving first. But to be honest, it could be an all at once thing. As soon as Bitcoin makes its low and starts, getting these impulsive waves off the lows, I think a lot of altcoins are going to move pretty fast. Do you have a chart for a ticker that shows a good layout to show how the theory works? Yeah. Honestly, Bitcoin's a really good one. So we can jump over to Bitcoin. XRP is a really good one, but let's go over to Bitcoin and I can show you what I mean. So we can do it from a long time frame, but also a short time frame. So let me clear up some of this chart. So with Bitcoin, we'll do it like section by section, essentially. Let me see if I can get everything in. I think that should show everything. But with Bitcoin, for example, like you have this massive impulse of wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5. Like you have these clear 5-wave movements, nothing overlaps, it all just impulses up. And then on these waves down, like you have an A, B with a C, and then on this one you have an A, B, and a C, and then on this one you have an A, B, and then a C. So like Bitcoin is like a perfect example of Elliott wave theory. It really follows it really well. And obviously you have a long history of price action to go off of, like to be able to determine this. But even on the smaller time frames with where we're at now, let me get the whole chart in here. Even on the smaller time frames for Bitcoin, you have like pretty clear movements with Bitcoin. You have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5, and then you have this A, B, C. And then the next thing for me, this is my thesis, is we'll see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement off of these lows. I'm looking for a chart I can have a good impulse. Yeah, for me, like Bitcoin is going to be a prime example of this based on my theory. Is we've had a 5-wave move. And for me, the reason behind it and why I think we're in a wave 3 is I'll show you why. So we've already had a 5-wave move for Bitcoin for a long term. Like we've had a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, and then we had this ABC correction down. For me, that's a completed 5-wave move with a wave, with a completed like ABC movement down. Now we're in the next sort of like stage, and what I'm expecting is something like this. So we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up of a wave 1, then we're in the wave 2, and then we should see a wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5. That for me is kind of what's next for Bitcoin. And the reason why I think 200K is next is if you take the wave 1 to the wave 5 and then retrace it down to my potential bottom of like 55K, the extension for a wave 3 is right at 200K. So that's why for me, I'm expecting 200K next, given these rules of Elliott wave theory. Now only time will tell. Obviously, you can kind of pick and choose, like you can agree with me, you cannot agree with me. That's totally up to you, up to your discretion. But based on my analysis and what we see next, I do think 200K is next based on the rules of kind of where we're at. That makes a lot of sense now. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. We can jump over to XRP too, because XRP shows some clear impulses and clear corrections. So I'll jump over to XRP in a second and we can show that. I just want to make sure that I answer Raul's question of, do you see Bitcoin going to 70 before 60 to complete wave 4? That's my thesis right now. The reason behind it is, let me get everything in the chart here. Give me a second. I can get a little bit more in the chart. Hold on. Yes, that has everything. So for me, like, this is just this 4 corrective structure is just very chip choppy right now. There's no impulses down, there's no impulses up. It's kind of just moving in sort of this choppy corrective movement. Even on this too, Richard, on the shorter time frame, like, you can see clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements, even on the shorter time frame on Bitcoin. And typically the reason behind that is higher market cap, less volatility, and clear movements. Like when you get high volatility tokens, you get like these lower market cap tokens. They don't necessarily abide. Not to say that they don't, they're just less likely, or there's a less percentage chance that they abide by the Elliott wave theory rules. Because they're so volatile, they can get these big spikes up and these big spikes down in overlapping structures, which makes analyzing them a lot harder. But when you get something like an MSTR, a Coinbase, a Bitcoin, an Ethereum, an XRP, if you get like a PayPal, an Alibaba, like tokens with really big market caps, Oracle, like United Healthcare, like these big companies with big, massive market shares, a lot of trading volume, and a lot of price history, using Elliott wave theory works perfect for these things, because you can see movements like this on the chart where you get like almost speculative like tokens. Like you get like I don't know if I'd throw VeChain in there because it did have some clear movements, but when you get these tokens that aren't traded as much, they're very volatile, they're newer, like you get a token launch in the past 2 years, no one really knows what's next. You can use Elliott wave theory as a guide, but it's less predictable. Whereas like with Bitcoin, it's been around for over 10 years now, so you have more distinct price action. With all that being said, it's just a lot more clear on charts like this. But to answer your question, Raul, I mean, I think for me on is this the daily? On the 4 hour, looking at this on the 4 hour, just specifically isolating this wave 4. For me, you have a wave A, a wave B, and a wave C. So for me, that's a 3-wave movement. I'll label that as wave A. Okay, great. Now on this movement, this is what's getting me tripped up. This is like some complex, choppy structure down. You get a lot of overlapping movements. It almost looks like an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, then you get a B wave, then you get an A, B, C. So this could be an A. So you almost get like an A structure, a B structure, a C structure. So now of that, you have an A wave up, a B wave down, and then we should get a C wave here. And what something could potentially happen like that, you could get an A, B, C up like that. So it's like, with these corrective structures, they can morph, they can change, they can be like complex. You could almost view this as an A, a B, a C, a D, and then we get an E. And then off of the E, we get the drop. Unfortunately, only price action is going to be able to tell what's next. For me, my thesis was always A, B, and then we should get a C up. I'm still expecting that. I think that we might bounce. If we don't, that's fine. I mean, for me, I'm not really trying to time, a perfect wave 4 entry to trade down for a wave 5. Like, that's just not something I'm really interested in. For me, I'm just waiting for this. So once we start getting like these, because like even this structure right here, when you're looking at this, you're like, okay, this could be a 1, a 2, but then there's no clear 3. Like all of these structures are just like overlapping, So I was considering this as like the first start to a drop, but everything overlaps. Like you get a 1, a 2, and then this overlaps and this chops, and it's all shit. Until we get something that's clear where we get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 down, for me, my next price is a bounce and then the dump. That's what I'm expecting. Can price differ from that? Sure. Could we get, from here, maybe we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down. Okay, great. That marks the low. between 60 to 50K. I think for me, that's kind of what I'm expecting next. But I think that answers your question. If it doesn't, let me know. If Bitcoin goes to 200K roughly, where is the end of wave 5? Yeah, so we can hypothetically target that. And it's only going to really be determined based on price action. So I'll show you a couple different confluences here. Typically, the wave 2 retraces to the 0.5 to the 0.618. So what you do is you take this Fibonacci retracement tool, you take it from the bottom of wave 1 to the top of wave 5. So not up here, but the top of wave 5. And the wave 2 after a 5-wave movement retraces between the 0.5 and the 0.618. So again, let me move these prices over to the right. Give me a second. So let's break this down. I'll show you why my bottom zone is 60 to 50K. Reason number 1, why my bottom zone is 60 to 50K, is the 0.5 to the 0.618 is sitting at 62K to 51K. Typically, after a wave 1, which for me, this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1, the wave 2 bottoms somewhere between the 0.5 and 0.618. Great. 62 to 51K. That's confluence number 1. Confluence number 2 is on the daily chart. Give me a second. On the daily chart, you take the fib retracement tool, you take it from the bottom of wave 3, say we top out at 72K for the wave 4. Another confluence is the wave 5 typically extends to the 1.618. It can extend anywhere between the 1 and 1.618. What are those numbers? Well, we have 60 to 50K. Okay, there's 2 confluences of why I think the bottom's going to come between 60 and 50K. We have the fib retracement of the wave 1 to the wave 2. We have the fib extension of the wave 5 to the 1.618 between 60 and 50K. And then, what was the third reason I was thinking of? The third reason behind it was... What was the third? I know what the third reason was. But I think we already extended. The third reason behind that was, again, this was the wave 1, 2, 3, and then 4 of the larger 4, and then this is the larger 5. You can do the same concept here. And for me, the price was going to extend to 1.618. We just overshot that. But if we extended the 2 or the 2.618, look, 60 to 50. Wait, it's not in screen. If we extended the 2, which we've already kind of bounced off that, or the 2.618, look at the prices, 63 to 52. So there's 3 confluences right there why I think we're going to bottom at 60 to 50K and then start impulsing up. But let me answer your question. But does that make sense? Like, that's why I think we're going to bottom at 60 to 50K based on those 3 confluences alone, based on this wave 4 getting extended between the 2 to 618. So that's confluence 1. Confluence 2, where's my erase button here? Confluence 2 is using the same theory from the 3 to the 4, 60 to 50K. There's confluence 2. And then confluence 3 is entire chart from the 1 to the basically the big 1. And the wave 2 corrects between the 0.5 and the 0.618. So those 3 confluences right there are why I think we're going to bottom. And for me, that's why I'm so confident in my analysis is, okay, we're going to bottom in those ranges. And then what's next? Well, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. And what's the target for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up? Well, the target for it is use the trend-based fib extension. Top of wave 5 to call it 50, say 55K or wherever. This one I got to drag down a little bit longer. There we go. And then my next range for the wave 3 is the 200K. So say we pump to 200K, right? Say 55K is the bottom and we pump to 200K. Well, the wave 4 typically, if we drop to 55 and then we go to 210 or 207, the wave 4 typically drops to the 0.382, which is right at 148, like 150. So basically the next steps for, let me get this on the chart for TikTok here, for the vertical. Basically the next steps for me is we have wave 1, wave 2 to 55K, wave 3 to 207, wave 4 to about 150. And then if we correct to 150, what is the next target from here? Well, you take the fib extension from 207 to 150, and the next target is about 240. So basically it's, let me clear up some of this stuff. And it can extend, like you can get extensions of it, but it's basically wave 1, wave 2 to 55, wave 3 to 207, wave 4 to maybe 148, and then the final wave 5 to 240. That's essentially what I'm thinking is next for Bitcoin, is this style of movement. I could be completely wrong, but analysis says otherwise. Institution Boss said HH. I don't know what you're trying to type there, but welcome to the stream. Any questions on this? Does this make sense? Time frame, this for me is monthly. I know that I get a lot of questions on time frame. Is like, when is this going to happen? Is this going to happen in 2026? Is this going to happen in 2027? Is this going to happen in 2028? It's very hard to be able to determine that because Elliott wave theory doesn't give you rules around time. Like that's the only like caveat of it, is we don't have a lot of rules around it has to happen in this specific time zone. But this is logically what's next based on the rules of Elliott wave theory. Now, for me, it's just a hunch. This is just what I think is going to happen. I think maybe we see this wave 3 into the summer, and then maybe we get the wave 4 over the summer, and then we get the final wave 5 into the fall. That could be a logical scenario. The only thing that's going to be determining what happens is what happens off of these lows. I know I've been talking about it for a while, is what do we get off the lows? That's the thing, is what do we get? Hold on, we're getting hold on, I need to get this down here. Thanks. Oh yeah, absolutely, Matt. We can look at XAU. Yeah, I think that's gold, right? We can look at that. I am new here. Yeah, welcome to the stream, Institution. I appreciate that. Good morning to you as well. Good morning to you. First to see you, I think you're doing Elliott waves, which is good. Yeah, I'm an Elliott wave theory for sure. We can look at gold for sure. Good case scenario. Your guess is not financial advice. I invested way more than I should. Yeah, again, I'm not financial advice, but this is essentially what I'm thinking is next for Bitcoin. I think maybe we get this, a wave 2 bottom soon. We get a wave 3 into the summer, a wave 4, and then a wave 5 to complete it. And then of this 5-wave move, we'll get a big ABC correction down, correcting this entire 5-wave move. But the only thing that's going to be able to determine of if the 200K theory is in play is if we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement off of this low. If we do, that's my base case. But the only problem is if we get an ABC movement off. If we get an ABC movement off of it, this is what will happen. And that we don't want that because we want bullish price action. But if we get an ABC movement off of the low, what that would mean is, I'll show you what that would probably mean, is we would have this as an ABC as a larger wave A, then we'd have an ABC of a larger wave B, and then we'd have an ABC of a larger wave C, and then we would start the impulse of movements to the upside. So essentially we have two scenarios. It's this is a larger wave A, we get a B wave bounce, and then we get a C wave, and then we start the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement. Or this is my base case, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement off of these lows and we target 200K. While I don't discount either scenario, they're both plausible. Given the structure, they're both definitely plausible. I just don't know if we get that ABC movement because we've had a corrective ABC for over a year now. I think a lot of people are bearish right now. There's a lot of fear in the market. Markets don't top in fear. I think because there's been so much fear and doubt in this wave 2, it makes me think it's a wave 2. And wave 2s typically bring fear. They bring doubt. They bring a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people doubt that this is a real rally. A lot of people think the next move is going to be a dump like that. So for me, I think what will happen is we'll have a wave 1, a wave 2, everyone will get bearish, and then we'll get an explosive 3. I could be completely wrong, but based on the chart and the price action we have right now, that's what I'm going off of. You were thinking good, then drop for then move up again. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's, you know, somewhere between 160 to 210, we get a drop, and then we get one last leg up. That's my Raj said need exit soon. Don't we all? Don't we all? I mean, altcoins in this next phase, I do think will outperform. I believe Bitcoin is being manipulated, hence why price is being electrically cost while many firms buy. Clarity Act also in progress. Didn't know you went live. We'll be tuning in more. How often? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining the live. My schedule right now is Sunday through Thursday. Those are the days that I go live. So Sunday through Thursday. And then the time-wise is anywhere between 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then I go to like 8:30, maybe 9, just depending on the day. Could price action be potentially manipulated? Possible. You know, for institutions to load up at cheap prices, that possibly could be the case. I think for me, what I saw on the chart back in December is a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. And after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up, you do get an ABC correction. And we had this move down, and then we had another ABC up, I think is what threw a lot of people off guard. Because if you look at the smaller time frame, hold on, let me get this in a chart. If you look at the smaller time frame, we had a 5-wave move up, and then we had this ABC down. And I think a lot of people were thinking that was the wave 2. But then you had this ABCA, and then you had this ABCB, and then you had another ABC. So for me, this was an expanding flat developing. And what's next? Well, you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down for a wave C. And I think this movement caught a lot of traders off guard and a lot of investors off guard because they were expecting this to bottom and then we go to 200K. But when price action started to develop, you had a 3-wave move up, and that's not what you want to see in terms of impulsive moves. And then you had a 3-wave movement down, and then you had another 3-wave movement up. So if you didn't take profits up here or expect lower, you're going to get caught off guard because you have a 3-wave movement up, a 3-wave movement down, and a 3-wave movement up. That is not impulsive, that's corrective. And what comes after that is a dump. And I think a lot of people got caught off guard by that. So I do think that there could have been, you know, could there have been manipulation? Possibly. I have no idea. I obviously can't see behind the back end. All I know is what is on the charts. And at that period of time, it was suggesting a dump. And that's what we're getting. And that's what I've been analyzing now for the past couple months. Keep shining. You are doing good. Appreciate it, institution. I appreciate that. Alt season is dead. I disagree. I'm going to disagree with alt season is dead. Is the reason behind it, and this is my reasoning behind why alt season I don't believe is dead, is there's so much fear in the market. We're still waiting for the next move up for Bitcoin. And again, there's my two scenarios is we've had this 5-wave movement up. We've had an ABC expanding flat. And what comes after a correction is the impulsive move up like this. And I think this is also going to catch a lot of people off guard because you've had this long expanding flat, which caught people off guard. People are calling this the top, but in my opinion, it's not. And I think a lot of people think this is going to happen. We're going to get a false bounce and then a dump to 30K. And everyone's saying 30 to 20K is the region that they want to go in. So if everyone's thinking the same thing, I think the reverse is going to happen. We're going to shoot up. We're going to liquidate all of these shorts in this area. And then price is going to do a big 1, a 2. Everyone's going to doubt this wave, load up on shorts. And then we're going to get an explosive 3, 4, and then a 5. That personally is my opinion. And during this next phase up, altcoins should outperform. And a lot of altcoins are looking pretty bullish based on the chart. And we looked at Ethereum, we looked at XRP. We're going to jump over to XRP in a second because I think it was Richard that had a question on just like how Elliott Wave works. And XRP is a good example of that. So we can for sure look at XRP. I logged in late, but in your last live, you said people were... No. So VeChain yesterday, I was cracking up because everyone was saying they're going to put their entire life savings in VeChain. Again, it is a lower market cap token. There's more volatility. So at the end of the day, like, while Elliott Wave Theory can be a guide for tokens like that, it's not necessarily perfect. Like with Bitcoin, it's a little bit more, I'm more confident in it in Bitcoin because it's a higher market cap, more price action. But VeChain from the levels right now, I'll show you. We'll jump over to it later and I'll show you exactly what I mean. You'll see it and you'll start laughing. Joe said, do you think we go lower first though, correct? Yep. Yeah, so on the daily chart, for me, what we're tracking on the daily chart is, let me get everything into frame here just so you can see what I'm tracking on the daily chart is, I need to add this to my favorite so I can stop going up there. Okay, so on the daily chart, this is the move that I've been tracking down. So we already know this is the B of the expanding flat. And then what you get after that is a 5-wave movement down. And this consisted of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's wave 1 and ABC 2. Then you get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down for a wave 3. Wave 4. And then we're in the wave 5 right now. And of the wave 5, so far we've had the 1, the 2, we've had the 3, we're in the 4, and we should expect one more dump lower for the wave 5 to complete the entire expanding flat structure. And of this wave 5, specifically this larger wave 5, we should have 5 movements in here. So we have a 1, a 2, an extended 3, a 4, and then one last dump. And the reason that I've been saying 60 to 50K is when you use the fib extension, which Elliott Wave Theory gives you rules around that, but essentially I'm expecting a little bit of a bounce to maybe 72 and then a dump between the 1 and the 1.618, which is 60 to 52K. Somewhere in this region is where I see us bottoming, and then we start getting those impulsive moves off the lows. That's sort of what I'm expecting. Do you use reverse fib, which only use? I do. So for this, for example, I do use reverse fibs. But that's only for the wave 3 target. I use reverse fibs. But I know that there's a lot of other newer viewers in here, so I want to show them 2 compliments of why I think the bottom is going to be between 60 to 50K. For all those that have seen it, it's probably going to be redundant, but I want to show everyone else that had just joined of why this is, for me, the bottom. Is this right here, the reverse fib of the wave 3 to the 4, and then you extend typically to the 1.618 for the wave 5. Anywhere between 60 to 52K is a bottoming zone based on this time frame. And then if we go back to the monthly time frame, on the monthly time frame, you also get this on the monthly time frame. So let me just show how this works. After a 5-wave movement, for me, this is a large wave 1. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a larger wave 1. And then we're about to enter this wave 3 once we get that final drop. But another confluence for me is the wave 2 typically corrects between the 0.5 and the 0.618, which is sitting at 62K to 51. So those are my 2 confluences right there, as we retrace to the 0.5 or the 0.618 of the larger fib retracement, and then we get an extension on the smaller time frame wave 5 to the 1.618 or the 1 between 60 to 50K. So that's why for me, this is a bottoming zone. Which indicators do you use? Like, I don't use any indicators. The only things that I use are Elliott Wave Theory, and that includes the fib retracement and the trend-based fib extension. Those are the only thing that I use. No other, I don't use any moving averages. I don't do any patterns. I just stick to the Elliott Wave Theory. And this place will be a real long-term buy. Yeah, I think once we bottom here, it's going to be great opportunities to buy for the long term. Do you use log charts? Yeah, so this chart is in log right now, so I can see everything on the chart. If I zoom out, like super zoom out, you can see everything on a log chart. I personally like the log chart better. It helps me see movements easier as opposed to the analog. For me, I like the log chart better. Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely well explained. XRP versus XLM versus Hedera, who wins? That's a great question. We can jump into XRP for sure. Richard said thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I sold 3 of my Marriott hotels for VeChain. That is hilarious. Oh, people were cracking me up with VeChain yesterday. Are we going to bottom to 55 or 51? For me, my next targets are between 60 to 50K. That's what I'm targeting based on the fib retracement of this entire move to the 0.5 or 0.618, and then the shorter time frame extension to the 1.618, which is typically what happens for wave 5. You get a fib extension to the 1.618. So for me, that is from the lower the 3 to the 4. And then you get an extension between the 1 and the 1.618, which is 60 to 50. So that's still my zone. But we won't know what a target is until we start getting these impulsive 5-wave move to the downside. And once that happens, we can chart out a more exact number. Are you working on SMC? Is that smart money concepts? No, I don't do any smart money concepts. And for fib, how easy is it to learn Elliott Wave? I mean, it's not necessarily difficult in the Raj is laughing. No selling your hotels, Raj. No selling your hotels and putting all your life savings in VeChain. So Elliott Wave theory. I'll show you the book that I bought that can really help with it. I showed everyone on stream earlier, but I can show it again. Just let me pull it up. So this is the book that really helped me. It's called Elliott Waves Made Simple by Steve Sinclair. This is the book. It's Elliott Waves Made Simple by Steve Sinclair. It's like $10 on Amazon. It's an easy read. It's literally, I think, 100 pages. And it condenses everything into like an easy to read, easy to understand concept. The only problem, or not the only problem, like Elliott Wave theory in and of itself is not hard to understand, like conceptually. It's a matter of where you draw your charts. Meaning, when you're looking at something like this, chart right here, like you can see it on the chart, right? You can see the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and then we have this ABC. The only problem is it takes a lot of time and a lot of trial and error to understand which move is which. So like you could say, well, this is a wave 1, this is a 2, you know, this is a 3, this is a 4, this is a 5. So like it really just comes down to abiding by the rules and sticking to the rules and making sure that you're not deviating from what the rules say. And if you're doing that, it's easy, but if you don't, it can be very complex, if that makes sense. Can you take a look at render? Yeah, we can look at render. Let's jump over to XRP first, then we'll go to render, because I know, I think it was Richard wanted to look at XRP. How effective is it for you? For me, this is how I've kind of traded, and this is, if you see my videos back to December, where's the daily chart? Like for me, back in December, price was, where's December? Like back in December in this region when its price was 88,000, I was expecting this final wave dump based on this theory of seeing a wave 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then a 5. I was expecting that dump for a while now. And then so far on this move down, I've been expecting the wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. So it is very effective and it can be very useful. It's really just dependent on, I'm trying to use an analogy here. Like there's an analogy of like I'm just trying to think, I'm not good with analogies, but I'm thinking of like, you put a sword in a samurai's hands, and that one samurai can be really useful with that weapon, but then another person's not. So it's like the tool is only as good as the user, if that makes sense. Khan, is that... I have a buddy that's named Khan, so when you say that, I'm thinking that's my buddy Khan, but I don't think it is. Which broker do you use? Anyone? For stocks, I use, I think Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade now. So I use TD Ameritrade for stocks, and then I use Coinbase for crypto. Once we book profit, we need to take a trip to the Vegas, boys only. Let's do it, man. If VeChain hits us a 70x, let's all go to Vegas. I'm in. We'll do a community meetup in Vegas. Let's jump over to Raj said yes. Yeah, community meetup in Vegas if we hit a bag on VeChain. But let's jump over to XRP and I'll show you another example of like Elliott Wave theory being pretty useful. So let me get all this in the chart here. Oh, hold on. Let me get all this in frame. So like with XRP, for me, like we had this like complex two structure essentially, and we had a wave one, which consisted of, if you go to the daily time frame, it looks like a 1-2, and then we have a 3-4-5 of a wave one, and then we have an A, B, C, and then we have the first impulse off the 2. And for me, this is a 1-2. We should expect a 3-4 and a 5 for the wave 3. Then we'll get an A, B, C 4, and then we'll get a 1-2-3-4-5 up for the final leg 5. That for me is what's next for XRP. And when we were looking at the XRP chart for what price action we have right now, based on the trend-based fib extension from this low to this high to this low, the next target for XRP is $6. Richard said Vegas, baby. Love Vegas. Yeah, 100%, man. I'm all in on Vegas. That would be fun. That would be a good trip. Hey, if we all hit a bag on these cryptos, we can definitely do a community meetup for sure. How long have you been in crypto? I was doing a lot more stocks, and again, this was part of my, like, I'll call it my trading investing journey of like trial and error, learning a bunch of different strategies, you know, using moving average strategies, trying out some smart money concept stuff, trying out some ICT trading. I tried out like anything on YouTube, like with all these strategies and shit. I've tried it, and I did that for years, dating back from like 2019 all the way till today. And it just nothing ever worked. So everything I would do, like I would have some wins, I'd have some losses. I was doing more day trading stuff, and it wasn't working. Then I started doing some swing trading stuff. And for me, it's better for having a longer time frame and having a longer view and using Elliott Wave rules to invest on more of a longer time frame to take out some of those volatility. Like when you're day trading, it's hard. It's not easy. You can get faked out, and while Elliott Wave theory can be used for day trading, it's more meant for like long-term investing like this, like identifying huge swings up, huge swings down, and then targeting out a next zone, which is why like I don't day trade. I don't, swing trade. I don't use options. I don't do any leverage plays. Like that's just not what I do. I do long-term investing, and then when I see an opportunity like Bitcoin right now, it's a great opportunity to invest in the long-term based on the structure. MSTR looks like a great opportunity. XRP, I was in here at the 2. I was in around 50 cents, and I'm holding until $6 because for me that's the next target. So I use it more for long-term. As far as crypto goes, I was in it a little bit in 2020, in it a little bit of 2021, but I majorly invested on 2022. Like when we had that big crash, I was dollar cost averaging in to Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin, a few different altcoins. I bought a ton of Chainlink, Injective, Solana, Render. Like I bought everything at the bear market bottom, and then I waited. And for me, I've already taken profits on Solana. I was in at Solana at like $10, then I sold at 200, so I already made a 20x on Solana. I was comfortable with that. I do think Solana, the next target for me on Solana is 500, but I took profits and rotated it into another altcoin, which I thought was undervalued. I took profits on Render. I think I hit a 20x on Render as well, so I took profits on that. I felt comfortable with that. I wasn't trying to get greedy. XRP I still hold, HBAR I still hold, Chainlink I still hold. But a lot of these stuff, I'm not really looking to trade it short term. It's more long term stuff. Sonny said, "While you're still on, I had to run an errand. Would you do? What did you do? Unless that's Yiddish to me. I don't know what that is, Sonny. But yes, I'm still on. We had dinner earlier today. I didn't wait and eat dinner after the stream. So the stream's been popping today. So I figured I'd stay on for a little bit longer. I will book rooms for discount at Marriott. Raj, you're cracking me up, man. Hey, give me that Marriott discount. Let's go to Vegas at a Marriott discount. For real, what is your thesis for the next 60, 90 days? I mean, for me, I'm expecting lower. My targets are 60 to 50K in the short term. I think that happens probably, I don't know, in the next 1 to 3 months. I think we bottom and then we start the impulses to the upside. Matt said, awesome stream. I appreciate it. I'm trying to make these streams more interactive, so I think I'm trying to do my best. Danish said, you only trade crypto. What about Forex? I don't touch any Forex, to be honest. I mainly spot trade. I don't really day trade. How long does it take for someone to truly internalize trading skills, master their emotions? That's another thing too. That's a great point, Khan. That's a great point. Is emotions are like the hardest part to manage whenever you're investing, whenever you're trading. Like when you have these big swings up and down, and especially when your trade is negative or if you get it wrong, managing your emotions and sticking to the plan is probably the hardest part. Like that is truly the hardest part of investing. It's just managing your emotions. When things are really, really pumping and you're getting greedy and you're like, I'm going to hold out for a little bit longer, I can make a little bit more profit, and the next thing you know, it dumps. That's something to consider. But then when you're in a position to buy undervalued positions, but you see the price just cratering and you don't want to get in, like managing that fear and actually investing in it based on your strategy is also another thing to consider. And that can take time. It's different for everyone. It could take a year for someone. It could take 6 months for someone. For me, I've never really been an emotional person when it came to any type of investing. I would say early on in my sort of investing trading career, I was a lot more emotional. I didn't have the strategies just weren't working. So that was another thing. But that's the hardest part. And once you can master it, it really allows you to take an objective, logical based approach. And for me, I'm at a point now where like things like this, like big impulsive moves or big declines, don't necessarily faze me because I just stick to the strategy and it's worked well for me. So I just kind of just trade based off the targets. And if the targets hit, great. If they don't, then, you know, I just follow the strategy. And if it says sell, I sell. If it says buy, I say buy. Are you holding any Dogecoin? That is the one coin I did not buy. I had a chance to buy Dogecoin at 5 cents and I did not pull the trigger, and I should have. That was the one thing I didn't do. But you can't win every trade. Sui, yeah, we can jump into Sui for sure. Yearn Finance, we can go Yearn Finance. Yep. Raj said DM me. All right, I will. You're holding Dogecoin. No. What do you think about GAN? I'm not familiar with GAN. All right, so let's do. I'm trying to see who was first in the reply chain here. I think Sunny was first with Yearn Finance. So let's do Yearn Finance. Let's go to Sui, and then let's go to GAN. I'm not familiar with GAN, but we'll look at it. But for XRP, yes, next target. Oh, Render. No, Render was first. Render was first. Good call. Render was first. We're going to do Render, Yearn, Sui, and then GAN. That's going to be the next four. But yeah, XRP next target is $6. Wait. Render, where we at? I think this was the analysis because someone asked for it before. I think this was the analysis from before, but let me clear the chart. Let me clear this, make sure everything is in for y'all. So these are monthly candles again. So remember that these are monthly candles. Now on Render, Richard, if you're still in here, this is a pretty clear chart of how Elliott works. You have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Boom. Instant wave 1. All right, perfect. We have a wave 1. Now, what do we have next is the question. I'm here. Okay, perfect. So you see how that works on the chart, right? You have a 5-wave move and nothing overlaps. So the wave 4 doesn't cross into the territory of the wave 1. So you have a clear wave movement right here. Perfect. Okay, now we have a wave 1 on Render. Let me get this out of the way here. So we have a wave 1 on Render. And then we have what looks like a 3-wave movement down. We have this A, B, and then C. Now what we want to do is analyze this move here. Is this a wave 1? It can't be a wave 3. Well, I guess it technically could too, but it doesn't look like a wave 3. Because if this was a wave 3 and then this was a wave 4, it crossed into the territory of wave 1, so that cannot happen. So let's jump into the weekly time frame and analyze this structure and see what we're working with. So let me get this all into frame. So on looks to be a wave 2 bottom. Now the only question is, That doesn't overlap. Let's see if it follows the rules of, let's see, what is this? Does this extend further?
Hang on, let me listen.
No, Siri, shut up. Siri's out here listening to my conversation. This could be a 1, 2, maybe that's a 3. Let's see if that works. So that, look at that. Now this is the power and truly the power of Elliott wave theory. Look at this. Where does wave 3 typically extend to? It extends to the 1.618. Look at that. Damn near touches the 1.618 for the wave 3. That's why I love this strategy so much, because you get targets. Okay, so now we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. Nothing overlaps. Yeah, this doesn't overlap. Okay, so we're good there. So that to me looks like a wave 1. We're in the wave 2. Now, what are the next targets for render? Give me a second. So let's go back to the monthly, because this, I can put everything in the chart here. So if we're using this, we're going to put 2 different prices on here. So wave 1 to wave 2, what is the wave 3 target? Well, technically we've already fulfilled that. However, this can't be a wave 4, so this target's out the window. What do we go to next? Well, we go to the next wave. So we've had a wave 1, a wave 2. We go from the bottom of wave 2 to the top of wave 1, and then we go to the bottom. Say render bottoms, you know, say that was the, I think we still get a lower price, so maybe we bottom at like $1. Say we bottom at $1. Well, the next price for render is $22. So for me, we could get a wave down to $1 potentially. Maybe we get a little bit lower, because I think most altcoins are following Bitcoin in the sense that we should get one more push lower. So maybe we go to $1, or you know, $1.20, or wherever this thing ends up bottoming. The next target is $22 for the wave 3. And then from here, we'll have this, a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, somewhere around here. We'll have a shallow 4, and then we'll have a wave 5 to complete a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, then we'll get a wave 4, and then we'll get a wave 5. That's essentially what's next for render. Let me make sure it's all in the vertical format for the... This is essentially what's next for render, is a little bit of a short-term dip, maybe to $1, and then we go to 22 next, and then after that we get a short correction, then we get a final pump, and then we get a wave 4 and a wave 5. That's essentially what's next for render. So for me, I've already taken profits on render. I sold up here at like $12, so I wrote it from, I think I bought in at $1 and sold at 12, or I bought in at like 50 cents and sold at 12. So it was like a 10 to 20x, and I took profits. But the next stage for render is $22. What are the fundamentals on render? It's something to do with the GPU unit. It's something to do with GPUs. I know that render has been, at least initially, it outperformed a lot of other altcoins in this initial pump up and then down. I don't know too much about render from a fundamental standpoint. I dove into it a little bit previously when I initially bought it, but I haven't really paid attention on any of the updates. And I made a good trade on it, right? I made a good 10 to 20x on it, which was phenomenal. But I can't remember specifically what render did, but I know it was something to do with GPUs and something around there. I remember seeing... The reason I bought a lot of altcoins initially in like 2022, 2023, I went to, I knew that BlackRock had invested in the USDC company Circle, you know, the company Circle that makes USDC stablecoin that BlackRock's like invested in and everything. I saw that BlackRock had invested in Circle, and then I went to Circle's website, and then I went to partners, and I remember seeing Injective, Solana, Ethereum, Render, I think of Avalanche was on there. There was a bunch of partners on there. I'm like, well, BlackRock's invested in Circle. Circle has all these partners in their ecosystem. I feel like these tokens are going to do pretty well. And lo and behold, they did. I mean, Render hit a good, Render hit a good, 10 to 20x for me. Solana did a 20x. Injective did a 20x. I should have sold Injective. I didn't. I got a little greedy on it, but I think for me, Render and Injective look about the same, where you had these wave 1s, wave 2s, and we should see an explosive wave 3. So I'm kind of just holding out with Injective for the wave 3. But I was seeing all these partners of Circle. I'm like, you're not going to partner with an institutional grade USDC issuer that's invested by BlackRock if you're not doing something pretty cool. So that was like the fundamentals behind why I invested in it. Okay, we'll jump to Yearn Finance next. Phil Billy said Bitcoin bottom 60K. For me, yeah, we just went over Bitcoin maybe 30 minutes ago, I think. And for me, Bitcoin still 60 to 50K is my target for the Bitcoin bottom. We should see one leg lower in that 60 to 50K region, and then we start the impulsive waves to the upside. So let's jump over to Yearn. I am not familiar with Yearn Finance, but let's give it the old look. I don't know which one's going to have the most price action on it. Maybe Coinbase, possibly. I mean, that's probably the best looking one that I can find. What the fuck? There's no way. 60K almost there. Yeah, we're close. I think we're due for one more dip lower in that 60 to 50K region, and that for me is going to mark the bottom. So am I seeing something like, did Yearn Finance go to $95,000 per coin? Am I tripping? What is this? Is this right? Sonny, you got to let me, is this right? Like what is this token? $95,000 for a coin? There's no way. This can't be right. Hold on. This one says 6,000. What is this token? Yearn Finance. Let's go to the spot crypto. Holy shit. Load up the truck. Anything below 60K Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be great dollar cost averaging levels at that 60 to 50K. Okay, so let's look at this coin. I've never seen this coin before. I think I've heard of it before, but I think they're a lending program, right? They do like lending, I think, or something along those lines. Okay, let me go to the daily because I'm not getting any indication here. I'm trying to get everything into screen for y'all. I mean, technically speaking, this looks like, at least from the chart, what it looks like. We look like we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. So we technically have that. But is this a wave? But this could also be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, then you have a wave 4, and then this wave 5. But that wave 5 doesn't make sense because all this is choppy. So does this count? Hold on. Yeah, but that can't be a B wave because we can't extend past the 1.618. So this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but this doesn't look, this structure right here, just, I mean, maybe 1 with a 2. That doesn't look clear at all. Because this could be a 1, a 2. This can't be a 3 because there's not 5-wave structure moving up. And then this can't be a 1. I mean, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that doesn't look right. I'm going to be honest. Yearn Finance, for as much, I mean, technically, it doesn't look clear. I'm going to be honest, Sonny. It doesn't look clear. I'm not confident on this analysis with Yearn. Because this, I would have said, was a 1 and then a 2, and then we had the 3, 4, 5 here. But this structure up doesn't look like impulsive, and this can't be an expanding flat A B wave because it extended more than 1.618, which you can't have that for an expanding flat. I mean, Yeah, I'm not clear on this one. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. This one just is shaky. It almost looks like you had some like trying to figure out token price, and you had this deep correction. For me, the only thing that's going to be able to provide some clarity is what happens from here. Do we get a wave one with a wave two, and then we can chart out, you know, where the wave three was going to be. Until then, it's kind of just, I don't want to say no man's land, but from what I'm looking at, I really can't discern anything from this chart. It doesn't look very clear. It's very choppy. The wave 1, 2, 3 looks clear, but the 4, 5 does not. This 5 doesn't look like a 5 because everything overlaps. You could like force it to be a 5, but I just don't. I wouldn't feel confident saying that that's a 1 through 5. Let's see. So we did Yearn. Oh, Sui's next. We did Sui. I hope that helps, Sonny. I wish I could provide other answers for this, but it just doesn't provide a clear indication of the structure. Yo, Lance, what's going on, man? Yeah, I wish I could give you this thing's going to 500K, but unfortunately, I really don't have much clarity on it, to be honest. I mean, it could pump from here, though, because it's already shown that it can do that. But I would be forcing Elliott wave rules into this, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Do you think the wave 4 of the larger wave 5 for Bitcoin is complete, and we are now heading down? Now, we can jump over to Bitcoin. We'll end with Bitcoin. How about that? We'll end with Bitcoin. We're going to jump over to Sui next, and then... Colby said, so you're saying that we should go all in? Yes, all in Yearn Finance. Fuck it. No, I'll show you a token. Hold on. We had some jokes yesterday in the stream. If you missed it, it was hilarious. Sonny was here, but I'll show you something, and we can relive the memory from yesterday. We'll jump over to VeChain at some point, and I'll show you why we were all getting... I'll show you in a second. VeChain, here they go. Yep, here we go. VeChain, let's go. No. Render 22x. Yeah, I mean, Render's looking really good, I will say. Render looks very good, I will say. Don't get the chat riled up about VeChain now. They're salivating over the opportunity to buy VeChain. Let's go over to Sui. Let's see here. Yeah, so we did Sui already. This was the chart for Sui on the weekly. We had, let me move this because this was just corrective structure. Let me get everything into the chart here so that everyone on, let me change the color of these two because I was using it in, change that. So yeah, for Sui, what we have is similar to Render. Because we just did the Render chart. I mean, it looks very similar, right? You see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up, and then we have this A, B, C structure. Well, actually, it's different from Render. Let me get that. Let me correct myself. On Render, we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we had a 2, and then we had a 1, 2. With Sui, we don't have that. We have an initial wave 1. We're in the 2, and for me, it's following Bitcoin in the sense that we're in wave 5 of the 2. And the next target for Sui, for me, based on this chart, if we get like one more lower low, which I do think we get, maybe to like 78 cents, the next target for Sui is right around $8.70 and some change. That would be the wave 3 target. So essentially what you'll have is this. Off of these lows, you'll have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, up to about $8.70. But yes, Sui should bottom soon based on the chart. We looked at it, I think last week, and it's in a 1, a 2. We've had an A, or a 1. Shit. We've had a 1, we have an A, we have a B wave, and then we're in the C wave. And of this C wave, we have a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and then we're in the final leg 5. So once Bitcoin bottoms, Sui should bottom either that day or soon after, and then from there we should start the impulsive up towards the $8 target is my next target for Sui. Okay, so that's Sui. We covered Sui. And then next was... What was next? That was Bitcoin. What was after Sui? Because we did Render, we did Sui. Was there another one that I'm missing? I think that's it, right? Yeah, it was Sui, We did Render, we did Sui. All right, let's jump over to VeChain. Let's jump over to VeChain. If y'all want to see VeChain, we can see VeChain. I see user 20, 70x, not bad on V. All right, we'll jump over to VeChain. We'll entertain y'all first. We'll entertain y'all for 10 minutes. We'll go to VeChain. Now remember, this is not financial advice. And yes, Colby, this one, island time. Yup, there we go. Get them going. Get it all out. Come on, get it all out. Let's go to VeChain. Which one did we pull up yesterday? I forget. Which chart was it? Was it the spot crypto? There it is. There's the VeChain. Get them going. Get them riled up now. Let's go to the monthly. All right. You heard it here first, folks. This is VeChain, and this is what everyone's been talking about since yesterday. We got, for VeChain, we do have on the smaller time frame, we do have a 5-wave move up. From the low to here, we have a wave 1, we have an A, B, and we're in the C. Now again, I can't preface this enough. This is not financial advice, A. I'm not saying that you should go all in on VeChain, but what I'm saying is, based on the structure of the chart and using Elliott Wave rules, which again is more geared towards higher market cap tokens with less volatility, VeChain is considerably a bigger market cap. I mean, it's like 600 million, but again, it's still a lower cap. There's considerably more price action than typical altcoins. It goes back to October 2018. We do have a 5-wave move up. We are in a 3-wave move down. For the next wave up for VeChain, it is sitting at 43 cents. So technically it is a 70x potential from the lows. So if you're getting into VeChain right now, the next target using Elliott Wave rules is 43 cents, which if we take that from today's prices, what is that? 43 cents divided by 0.0007. Right now it is a 61x. So if you put $100 into VeChain, you could potentially make $6,000. Again, not financial advice, but the chart suggests that the 1.618 is next because we are entering the wave 3. So we've had a wave 1, a wave 2, and then we're in the wave 3. Then we'll get a corrective 4 and then a 5. But yes, 43 cents is the next target for VeChain. And once we get the final dump on Bitcoin, again, this is what I'm personally doing. We get the final dump on Bitcoin to the 60 to 50K region, I will be buying VeChain. I will be buying it. And I'll, if you guys want a screenshot of me buying VeChain, I can do that. But I do think that VeChain has some potential. Sunny said same. Yeah, I think VeChain, if I was to go for a good project, Dana White is partnered with them, so they have partnerships. Matt said we all are. Yeah, the chat on TikTok is going all in on VeChain. We're mortgaging our houses. We're selling our cars. What else are we selling? We're selling everything we possibly can. We're going all in on VeChain. We are making a 70x. We're getting rich. We're going to Aruba. And then we're using Raj's discounts at the Marriott Hotel at Vegas for a Vegas meetup. That's what's going to happen. We're all going all in. We're doing Vegas meetups with Raj's Marriott discount. And then we're going to Aruba. That's the plan. Watch VeChain gain you 1 million followers. That would be insane. That would actually be insane. That would be hilarious. I'm going to post the VeChain. I'm going to post my VeChain clip from yesterday or today. I'll clip it up and I'll post it on TikTok tomorrow. Guys sold his soul yesterday. Yeah. Matt was saying that in TikTok yesterday. Matt, did you still sell everything? He goes, that was not me. Yes, it was. Admit it. Admit it. It's gone already? Yep. It's already gone for capital. Yep, he's already sold it and it's gone for capital and he's waiting for the dip. But yes, 43 cents is next target for VeChain. So do with that information what you will. If we all get rich as shit off VeChain, that would be awesome. And you heard it here first. You heard it live. You heard it here first. If anyone else talks about VeChain, they got to come through me because I'm talking about VeChain right now and we're all getting rich and we're going to go buy an island in Aruba. Fuck going to Aruba. We're going to buy the damn island. But anyways, let's go to, yeah, Matt was in here yesterday from YouTube, so he witnessed the madness that was VeChain yesterday. Let's go to Bitcoin to finish it out. because I know that there were some questions on Bitcoin. So we can go to Bitcoin and we'll finish it out with Bitcoin. Let's see. I think there was question. Where was the questions on how much lower can VeChain go before it pumps? I don't really see much downside to it. Just a little bit more. Let me see. Can I VeChain? I'll just go to the tether. No, I mean maybe just past this low, maybe like 6 cents. I think 6 cents maybe in that region. I didn't really dive too far into it on the lower time frame. I was mainly looking at on the larger time frame. I think once Bitcoin bottoms, all these altcoins are going to bottom, and then we're going to see these big explosive moves up. I don't see much more downside on VeChain, if I'm being honest. But once Bitcoin starts dumping, and honestly, all the crypto market cap will start dumping once we get this final dump, and that's when I'll start dollar cost averaging in to VeChain. Because I do think it's a good project. They have a lot of partnerships, like traditional finance partnerships. They partner with Dana White. I think they're partnered with UFC. So they have some like strategic partnerships from a fundamental standpoint. It looks pretty good. Oh, there we go, Lance. Yeah. So do you think the wave 4 or the larger wave 5 for Bitcoin is complete and we are now heading down? So it's an interesting question because for me right now, I don't really see that. The reason behind that is I haven't seen any impulsive waves to the downside yet. So let me zoom in on this wave 4 just so you can see this like specifically. So I haven't seen any like impulsive moves to the downside yet. And when I look at it on the daily time frame, it almost looks like, I mean, it's very choppy, but if we go to the 4 hour, hold on, let me get everything into screen here. So on the 4 hour, like this is kind of what it looks like. And what I was thinking was a potential wave 1 start was this, but you can see like the price kind of just overlaps each other. So it doesn't, that for me, that doesn't look like a impulse down. This almost looks like an A, B, C of an A. And then we have this A, B, C of a B. And then we should get maybe an A, B, C for a C. And then from there, we should see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down. That for me is like potentially what could be next for Bitcoin is some level of like complex sort of, it's basically a WXY structure is kind of what seems to be forming, but only time's going to be able to tell. Like this could be a 3-wave movement W, this would be an ABC 3-wave movement X, and then we should see a 3-wave movement Y, and then from there we should bottom or should top out and then kind of go down. It's hard to tell at this point because price doesn't want to go lower. It doesn't want to go higher. It's just chopping around, which is furthering my thesis of why this is a corrective structure and the bottom here is not in. Because what would happen is instead of price moving the way that it's moving, it would be very impulsive off the low. And you could say, well, Nick, this was very impulsive. Yeah, but look at the structure. You get an A, B, C structure, which is not an impulsive structure. That's corrective. And then what happens after that? Well, you get this like choppy ass shit down, then you get this choppy ass shit up, and then choppy ass shit down. So everything just looks corrective to me. So for me, this is in the bottom, regardless of if we do something like this and drop, or if we do something like this and drop, or, you know, do we chop around here and then drop? Regardless of what scenario takes place, I'm still expecting 60 to 50. That's sort of the thesis, no matter kind of what price does. If it wants to, you know, ABC way up here and then dump, if it wants to ABC kind of here and then dump, if it wants to chop around here and then dump, if it wants to, whatever it decides to do, it doesn't really concern me. I'm not really looking to trade the wave 4 or the wave 5, so I don't really care. It's more of waiting for these impulses down. Oh yes, gold. We got to look at gold. That will be the last one. We look at gold. But does that answer your question, Lance? I think it does, but let me know if it doesn't. High speed, what's going on? Late, had date night with the wifey. Glad I can catch some of this. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope that you and the wife had a great date night because that is important. My wife and I always try to do that. That's why I don't stream on Friday and Saturday. I like to reserve those times because she is very gracious and very she lets me do things like this, like stream for a few hours where we don't get to spend time together. And obviously we both work during the day. So our weekends are specifically reserved for like our time and make sure that we're, putting time into each other. So like Fridays, I don't stream. I know it would probably be a good day to stream. I know a lot of people go on their, TikTok or go on YouTube or whatever. It would probably be very good time to stream for viewership, for whatever. But again, I don't do this for the views. I don't do it for the clout. I don't do it for the recognition. I do it purely because I love this shit. And I just want to document it online and then help others and go on stream and chill with y'all. Like, that's why I do it. So with all that being said, like, I reserve my Fridays and Saturdays for my wife so that we can hang out. So I'm happy that y'all had a good dinner. Lance said, thank you, it does. Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. Thanks. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that y'all had a good date, which is important. Dates are important. So let's look at gold, and then we'll end the stream with gold. Why is this one featured? What's the difference? I guess this is... Yeah, okay. All right. Let me go to gold. So these are the monthly candles. Why is this only showing to 2013? Is that all the price action we got here? There we go. That's the full price action I was looking for. Okay, well, let's see what we got on gold. Where's this? Ooh. Okay. So full see you tomorrow, same time. Yeah, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. 6 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be on tomorrow. Yeah, same time. And for those of you that are on TikTok, that are viewing from TikTok, I have it in both portrait and landscape. I just want to make that clear. Like, you can view it in portrait mode. If you hit the button in the corner, you can see my entire screen. It probably just provides a better visual for you as opposed to just seeing portions of my screen. We're on like YouTube and Twitch and Kick. Like, it makes it full screen anyway, so it's a little bit easier. But just wanted to throw that out there because I do have my whole screen available as well. Okay, so for gold on a big time frame, and for me, this looks like this. So gold on a big time frame, we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we're in the 5. For me, that's what gold looks like. So we're completing a 5-wave move. Let me see if I can get all of this in the chart for TikTok. Okay. So dating back to the launch, and this is like a huge long time frame, is you have this huge macro 5-wave move. And for me, that's kind of why gold's kind of going parabolic, because typically in wave 5s, you see like a parabolic run up. But you have this massive wave 1. Let's just validate this thesis, make sure it makes sense. Because if it doesn't make sense, why can't I get it to the top? Hold on, I need to redraw that. Give me a second. I'll redraw and then I'll center it in the screen. So you get this wave 1, wave 2. Look at that. Extends right to almost the 1.618. So give me a second. I'll put this all on a screen for the TikTok viewers. This is, again, why I like to trade higher market cap, lower volatility tokens, because you get things like this. Look at this. You have a wave 1, a wave 2, and then look at where price goes. Basically the 1.618 for the wave 3. And then the wave 4 looks to be, or the wave 5 looks to be extended. Yeah, I mean, the wave 5 is extended over the 2.618. So it's definitely a parabolic move for sure. But nonetheless, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is a parabolic run up. Now, what's next? For all of you guys that know, guys and gals in the stream, for all of you guys and ladies that know Elliott wave theory, after a 5-wave move, what happens? Well, you get an A, B, C corrective mode. That's what you get next, is an ABC from this 5-wave move. So that's why I do think all of this liquidity, I know people always ask me, where's the liquidity going to come from? Well, it's going to come from these parabolic gold run-ups that have happened since 1970. It's had its huge run. Then you're going to get an ABC down. And for me, if this is a wave 1 of a large, so the way that it works, if you're looking at on a really large time frame, this is an initial wave 1 of a basically, what's that? Was that 60 years? Right? No. What? No, 30 years would be 2000. So 50 this is a 50-year wave movement. So what you're going to see is an ABC correction of this entire 5-wave move, somewhere between the 0.5 and 0.618. So for me, the next target for gold is between, from current prices, is between 2,800 and 2,100. That would be the next prices on gold. And then what you'll see is this. You'll see an ABC movement down to these levels, and then you'll get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up, which if we get down to the 0.618, I mean, the next target for gold after it completes this correction would be in the, the teens. It would be in the, 9,000 plus region. But again, that's going to take time. These are massive monthly moves. And this is the best part about Elliott wave theory, is the fact that you can use it on any time frame. And this is just an example of a massive movement, of a huge 5-wave move. And then you should see a correction down. But for me, gold is in its parabolic 5, and then you should see corrections. And it's already extended, really. I mean, let's dive into the current wave and let's see what happens. So let's go to the weekly and let's just analyze this. Like, don't analyze any other structure. Let's just analyze this current structure. And then we'll call it a day. So let me get everything in here. So for me, again, this was the... Or wait a second, hold on. Let me label this out so then I don't get confused. Because this is massive. So we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now let's go to the weekly and then analyze just this structure. That ABC structure could play out over the next few years. Yep, 100%. So once gold tops out of this parabolic move, you're going to get a massive ABC candle down, basically cutting price in half. So you're going to go from 5K all the way down to like 2,800, essentially, is the next. So you're basically going to get a 50% correction in gold. And that's what's so funny to me, because all the news articles right now out there are specifically trying to target retail investors to buy gold. And the reason behind that is big institutions need to sell. They need to sell their positions. How do you get, like, how do they sell such huge positions? Well, you get massive liquidity from retail that are buying this. And then guess what's going to happen? Everyone's going to sell gold. The institutions specifically are going to sell gold. They're going to look for undervalued positions. Okay, where do they go? Well, a lot of stocks are at all-time high. Silver's at all-time high. Gold's at all-time high. Okay, where do we go? Well, what's undervalued right now? Crypto. They're not stupid. They're going to find undervalued assets and they're going to buy. So they're going to take their profits from gold that they probably held for, 20 years, however long they've held gold. So they're up significant chunks. They sell their gold position. You get this big ABC correction, and then they funnel it into undervalued assets like crypto, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, XRP, things like that. Then you get this next wave up, which is what I'm talking about right now, is we should bottom soon, and then we should start the parabolic 3. And then from there, the news will flip, and then they'll be bearish on gold, like they always do, to try to get retail to be emotional. And then what'll happen is they'll start pumping out positive news articles on crypto, and then retail will funnel into crypto. It'll pump the thing sky high, and then all the late players will be in at the top, and then we'll be selling, aka selling our VeChain at 40 cents to retail that want to buy it at 70x from lows. We'll sell it to them, and then they'll hold the top again, and then they'll be through a correction. They'll get pissed, and then the cycle just repeats. But let's dive. Give me one funded account, please. I don't do any like day trading. I don't do any like funded accounts, leverage trading, option trading. I don't do any of that. Sunny said 100. Yeah, 100. But let's dive into the current structure, because this will give us an indication of where we are. So technically we have a wave 1, an ABC 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and we're in a parabolic as shit wave 5, but we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we're in this wave 5. Now, let me just make sure everything validates. So we have wave 1, wave 2. That even that wave 3 off of this low extended to the 2.618. I mean, look at the extension on this shit. This is a wave 3 top. Look at this. I mean, this is a wave 3 top. I mean, we're way overextended. I wonder how much extension we're getting here. The 4.74. I think that's the most you can do on TradingView. Look at that. We're way overextended in this wave 5. So what do you think's next? A massive correction. But let's dive in just to the wave 5 specifically, because this is like you have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then you have an extended 5th. Now, of this wave 5, what do we have? Wave 1, wave 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Wave 4, wave 1, 2. Oh, let me label all this shit out. Wait a second. Wave 1, wait, I'm confused now. I got myself fucking confused. Where's the bottom of wave 4? Holy shit, it's all the way back here. Okay, so this is wave 5. So we have a wave 1, wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 3, 4, and then we're in the 5th. Okay, well, this is essentially what the chart looks like, is we have... This is just the 5th wave, by the way. This is just the 5th wave. Essentially, you have a wave 1 here, a wave 2, and then you have an extended 3 followed by a 4, and then you have, or wait, hold on. 1, 2, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, wait, the 3 is back here, I think. And then you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Yeah, so gold, based on this chart, is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, gold, for me, where we're at on gold right now is gold's top. I don't see any other way that gold, because we've already had, if we zoom out, geez, this thing is freaking massive. Of this wave 5, we have a wave 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we have this extended 5th wave. And of that extended 5th wave, we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave movement. And even in this wave 5 of 5, we also had an extended movement. So for me, gold's top. I don't see this thing going any higher. Nick, do you think the next higher multiple would be copper after gold sell-off, or just crypto? It could be copper too. I haven't looked at copper chart. It could be undervalued, but yeah, I think, again, you got to remember, where do people like to put assets? What did the big institutions, what do the people that make money do? Well, they find undervalued positions and they get in before the masses. That's the whole point, right? You got to find undervalued positions. Where is the market not aware of this position? Get in, hold, and then wait. That's why I love Elliott wave theory so much, because it factors in some human psychology and things like that. And for me, like wave 5, people are they're getting super euphoric on this wave 5, but for me, it's topped out. And then when this happens, people are gonna get fucked. Excuse my language, but people are gonna get fucked, because you have this massive 5 wave move, and then you're gonna have an ABC correction basically down to maybe this. You could even correct further. You don't have to go to the 0.5, like maybe this zone right here, like $2,000. People are gonna be bag holding gold, and they're gonna be chopped in half. Richard said, "Good explanation. You're rocking it." Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it. I try my best. Again, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm human, but yeah, I would. Bro, we short now. Honestly, I might short gold. If I was gonna short anything, I might short gold. Just based on the chart, there's no other explanation for me based on looking at it. We have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Boom, there's a 5. Of that 5 wave, we've already had a super extension. I think based on this chart, let's go to the daily. Yeah, like based on this chart, we're already seeing signs of a top. And the reason why is you have this structure right here. You have this, it almost looks on a shorter time frame, an A, B, C structure. So it's already starting, and you're not impulsing out of here. Like what you would expect from here, like you get this correction, then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement up, boom. For right there, right? 5 movement up the 5. Then you get a correction. So it again, not financial advice, but if you were to short everything, it would be gold. Gold to me looks topped out. Who's Elliott? It's the guy that created Elliott wave theory. He created it back in like 1920 or 1930, some like 100 years, like 80 to 100 years ago. I think his name was Ralph Nelson Elliott, I think was his full name, or Ralph something Elliott. But he was the founder of Elliott wave theory. He just named it after himself. And for me, this is the preferred technical analysis strategy I like to use. Chani Sarah said, hello there. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. I actually am shorting gold right now, praying. Yeah, I mean, based on this chart, this would be the time to short. If you just joined, we just went through the whole chart, but yeah, it essentially looks topped in my opinion. We already have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fifth wave. So we have a 5-wave move. Of this fifth wave, we do have 5 waves, and I'm expecting something like this. An A, a B, and a C. And for me, my targets would be a correction of this entire move down to like the 0.618 or the 0.5. So my targets for gold are like 2,700 to 2,100. Ideally, I feel like prices will come down to this zone because it's just such a hot zone from what it looks like. Like if you look at the chart, you have like, you know, resistance here, you have a bunch of chopping, and you have this long zone of consolidation. I wouldn't be surprised if gold doesn't come down to like $2,000. But excellent on the short. I will say I might have to look into this, and I don't know if I can do like a short. I haven't really experimented with shorts, but if I can do a short over a period of like 5 years, gold would be the short. Yeah, it's totally topped. I wouldn't touch it. So yeah, I wouldn't touch gold. Gold is going to rug pull for sure. This thing's going to look like a meme coin. It's going to look like just a huge rug pull, and everyone's going to be like, wait, gold? What? Gold? How? Gold can't do that. It's a store of value. Like gold can never correct. Again, every asset can correct. And I think that, what's that guy who's big on gold? Peter Schiff or whatever his name is, that guy that's huge on gold that thinks it's going to go to whatever the hell he thinks it's going to go to. His assets are going to get cut in half. Then alt season, baby. Yeah, I mean, all this is going to... Let's go to copper because I'm curious what that chart looks like. Copper, I guess just this one. That one looks weird. That one looks funky. Is it this one? Interesting. I mean, even copper looks pretty parabolic, unless I'm looking at a different chart. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and copper, dare I say, looks like it had a 5-wave move too. Because if you look at this from the beginning, we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we're in the 5. Copper, to me, almost looks top too. Is this wave 1, wave 2, wave 3? Does that come below that? Yeah, I mean, for me, copper almost looks topped, unless I'm looking at the wrong copper chart, but copper looks pretty topped. Silver, I know just from hearing about it so much. Copper looks like it might be pretty topped as well. Oh, wait, why am I... XAU, what am I thinking? Nope. Which one's... How do I do silver again? Is it XUA? What is it again? Silver XAG, that's it. XAG USD. I mean, silver, look at silver too, right? You have silver. Silver looks interesting, if I'm being honest. Silver looks 5-wave move. Then you have this correction. 1, 2, this can't be a 3, 4. So this is almost like a 1, 2. This, I mean, silver actually looks interesting in the fact that you have a 1, a 2, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, and then we should get a 4, 5 of a 3. So actually silver looks like it might continue, surprisingly. Because you have a wave 1, a wave 2. This looks like an initial wave 1, a wave 2, and then we're in the wave 3, and then you should get a 4, 5. I don't know, that's what silver looks like. But copper looked pretty top too. Silver looks like it might run a little bit more, but XAG, yeah, thank you. I should have looked at the chat. I was confused. I don't know why I was confusing it. I got in shorts based off 4 hour, 15 minute. It really looked like it's going to sell off on lower time frames. Your explanation helps a lot, though, from a super high time frame perspective. Silver and gold kind of just moves similarity, no worries. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. This could be, this definitely looks like a 5-way move with a 2-way move. This definitely looks like a 5-way move with a 2, and then we're kind of in the 3. So maybe we had already a 5-way move with this, then you had a 5-way move with a 2 and then a 3. Say, let's see what that would be if you target here as the low. Yeah, I mean, silver kind of topped out at the 1.618, so that would make sense. So maybe this is a 1-2. This is the third wave. We get a little bit of a correction, then you see one final wave with silver. That for me would be what's next for silver, is you get that sort of 3, 4, 5 where you have a 1, 2. This is the 3. We get a little bit of a correction, then you get one more final leg, and then after that you get a corrective wave, and then you get more waves up. But gold definitely looks topped, and I think all that gold liquidity is going to go to crypto. So I think people thinking that crypto cannot go up from here, I think, are going to be sadly mistaken. But with that being said, I think I covered all the charts today. It's already not. Oh shit! It's already 9:30. We went long today, so I am tapped out. I'm not gonna lie. I am tapped out from talking for the past 3 hours. But I think today was honestly a great stream. This was a great stream. I hope that I was able to provide some perspective, answer y'all's questions, dive into some charts. But yeah, we are blessed to have found you. Thanks, Sonny. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. I'm trying my best out here. I'm doing my absolute best to provide clarity, provide intelligent decisions, provide logic, remove the emotion from investing and trading, and give the best possible, options that I possibly can. Because again, markets are hard, right? They're tough. It's not easy. When you look at structures, you're like, what the hell is going on? For me, Elliott Wave Theory has provided the clearest and easiest way to analyze markets, and it's serving me well, and I hope to help others use that, or at least use my strategy to their advantage, and to help them with their investing journey. But I can get it wrong, I can get it right. I always hope that I get it right, but there are chances that the market fakes me out and does something different. So we'll see what the market brings. But again, for me, 200K is next for Bitcoin, and I think that's going to be driven by the gold sell-off. Glad I found your channel. It's really reassuring. Thank you, man. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the support as well. We go live every Sunday through Thursday at 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So Sunday through Thursday at those times, I start the live, and then depending on how the live's going, I might stream for 2 hours, I might stream for 3 hours like today. It really just depends on the time. So if you end up coming back, we do basically, we look at what the community wants to look at, and then we go and chart it essentially. So today we looked at silver, we looked at gold, we looked at Bitcoin, SUI. We also looked at VeChain, everyone's favorite. I shake my head at that because I think it's hilarious. But I like to look at chart requests, and then obviously do the chart requests, use Elliott Wave Theory to provide some perspective on it. But can you trade now? I mean, I don't really trade. I invest for the long term. I don't really do any leverage trading. I don't do any short-term trading. It's mainly long-term investing, and I use Elliott Wave Theory as my guide. High speed. Thanks, Nick. Hope to see you again soon, bro. Yeah, absolutely. If you join tomorrow, I'll be here. So I look to see you tomorrow. If not, no worries at all. What about Pepe? I think we did Pepe yesterday, and I have some clips of it. So I'll post those clips on my TikTok and YouTube tomorrow. But given I'm a little tired now, so I'm going to log off for the day, get some rest so I can be good to go for tomorrow's stream. But we can look at Pepe tomorrow for sure. But I think I have a chart on that, and we did that before, so I'll find it in the stream, and then I'll clip it up and post it on YouTube so you can see the shortened version of it with all the analysis. But we can review Pepe on live tomorrow for sure. But with that being said, I hope y'all have a great rest of your night. I will see y'all tomorrow for those of you that are joining again. If not, no worries. I'll see you in the next one. But I appreciate all the support. And big shout out to Christian Cowboy. I don't know if he's still in here for the diamond today. That was awesome. That was a really cool thing on stream. It did this whole galaxy thing. So I thought that was awesome. But I will see y'all tomorrow. And I'll be posting all these clips up tomorrow too. So I appreciate the support. Looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to it as well. I appreciate the support. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, and if not, no worries.